Sacktown Sports, 1140. Yes. Allen Stiles here, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate Littlefield is back behind the glass for us as he was powering through being under the weather. Something definitely going on. So be safe out there. Get your Gatorade, whatever you need, your vitamin C, whatever you need out there. And something's definitely going on with De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox has been on a mission, okay? He did it in a losing effort. He had 60 points taking on Anthony Edwards, one of the NBA's golden boys. Can't hear enough about Anthony Edwards. And the Timberwolves almost got that W if he had any help at all. De'Aaron Fox dang near had more points than the rest of the entire Kings team. Then off a back-to-back, he comes back. Only reason he didn't have a 50-burger is because his legs were shot from the last night, so he ends with 49. So we're going to discuss De'Aaron Fox. He was a legend this weekend. We're going to preview Hawks Kings. What does De'Aaron Fox have left? Taking on the Hawks, a team that can be very streaky with Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, and a lot of guys that can make you work hard. Dyson Daniels has really come into his own so far this season. We're also going to get into the Niners. The Niners fall back to 500 as they lose to the Seahawks, and a guy in Kyle Shanahan who has essentially walked through this league as if he has won something. He's a really, really good coach. Trust me, I know there are certain callers out there. We're going to open up the phone line soon. I know there are a lot of people out there that have thoughts about Kyle Shanahan, and the conversation always turns into, well, what else are we going to do? Do you remember Tom Sula? Do you remember this guy or that guy? Do you remember what happened before Kyle Shanahan? Sounds like the Hunger Games. Do you know what happened before Kyle Shanahan? Almost like BK. Do you remember BK? Almost like BC. But why is it always so negative? Why is the thought process always we're going to go back? We're going to revert to what we were before Kyle Shanahan. Why is the conversation never about, well, maybe we could be better? Now, I understand when you have NFC championships and you have Super Bowls under your belt, Super Bowl appearances under your belt, and you've built this team from drafting and finding gems in the 5th round, in the 6th round, the last pick of the draft. And you have Kyle Shanahan who essentially doubles as a GM. We know John Lynch, no disrespect whatsoever, but we know John Lynch helps. But Kyle Shanahan really is the puppet master. So we get all of that. But at the same time, are we sure we shouldn't at least be checking in on what else is out there? Do you just get to sit there and not get to the promised land, but because you played pretty well or because you did it last season, whatever it is, are you immune to that? Whenever the Kyle Shanahan conversation comes up, it's always compared to Andy Reid. And we've talked about it on this show time and time again. Andy Reid with the Eagles, all right, went to NFC championships, went to a Super Bowl, couldn't get it done. Andy Reid was there for over a decade. But finally, after Andy Reid started losing in the wild card games and missing playoffs. Now, they gave him about 3-4 years of that happening, but then he missed the playoffs, and they said, hey, thank you for your service. We'll see you around. Now, Andy Reid, he goes and gets the best quarterback in the game, possibly when it's all said and done, the best quarterback of all time, and they're sitting pretty right now with multiple championships, multiple Super Bowls. But you know what else happened during that time? The Eagles won a Super Bowl. So sometimes both sides can win. Do Eagles fans feel like they should keep Andy Reid? Maybe some of them, but maybe both sides just needed a fresh start. I'm not saying that's where we should be at with Kyle Shanahan. What I'm saying is when the conversation gets laughed out of the building, when you lose to a team that is 25th in defense in terms of yards allowed, and you have Brock Purdy not even getting close to breaking 200 yards passing. I get it, Ayuk is out. I get it, George Kittle is out. But you're trying to convince people that this guy is worth $60 million. So something has got to give. Brock can't be elite, Kyle Shanahan elite, but you miss George Kittle and you miss Brandon Ayuk, and now you can use that as an excuse. That's not how this thing works. Remember that commercial? That's not how any of this works. So something has got to give here, and you either got to look at because the defense didn't even play poorly. And the Seahawks, Geno Smith really didn't play well. But this crumbling in the last quarter that we've seen time and time again from Kyle Shanahan, we'll sit there, we say the stats don't look good, and then everybody says those are just cherry-picked stats. But then he does it again. He did it against the Rams. He did it against the Cardinals. I should say they did it. It's a team effort. Did it against the Rams. Did it against the Cardinals. They do it against the Seahawks. All within their division. You're last place in your division. Anytime a team, and I know that there's a reason for that. Sometimes excuses are legit. Anytime there's a team that is last place in their division, questions have to be asked. I don't care that you went to the Super Bowl last season and lost, by the way. And while you're in the Super Bowl, there were question marks as to whether or not you knew the playoff rules, the overtime rules. So nobody cares about that anymore. How long of a leash do you get for getting close? This is football. This is the NFL. This is not horseshoes. So is the seat getting warm as it's getting cold outside? I think you crank it up just a little bit. If you miss the playoffs, I'm still not saying fire Kyle Shanahan, but it gets cranked up a little bit even more. I get they don't have their guys. If we're going to bring up Andy Reid, as we just have, and Patrick Mahomes again, who are they missing? They haven't even had I've never even seen Hollywood Brown run a route for the Chiefs. They lose Rashee Rice, a budding superstar at the wide receiver position. They lose Isaiah Pacheco. They continue to lose guys, and they finally lost yesterday, but they were undefeated all season long. So there's levels to this. And Kyle Shanahan, this is where you make your money. When you had guys in the NBA, whatever sport it is, you make your money when the chips are down. You don't make your money when the team is fully loaded. Ty Lue, nobody was calling Ty Lue one of the best coaches in the NBA when he won that championship, even though they came back from 3-1. That was about LeBron, and that was about a choke job. They started calling Ty Lue one of the top coaches in the NBA when the Clippers didn't have Kawhi, didn't have Paul George, and they were still getting to the playoffs. What do you do when stuff isn't going your way? You built a good team, a great team. Good for you. This is football. Guys get injured. What do you do? Are you a front runner, or can you answer the call when those things happen? And if you thought that was my shot of Style Espresso, that's not even it. All right, Nate, let's get to the shot of Style Espresso. Thank you very much. That is hot. That is hot today. Shot of Style Espresso. De'Aaron Fox, 109 points this weekend. 109. The players who have scored at least 109 points over 2 nights, Kobe Bryant in 2007 and Wilt Chamberlain, who did it 15 times. The reality of the situation is that the disrespect needs to be met with the same veracity as what we have with De'Aaron Fox right now. It needs to be discussed. He's better than Ja Morant right now. He's better than Tyrese Halliburton right now. He's possibly the most underrated player in the league. We can talk about Sacramento. We can talk about why he's not discussed. Is it DeMar DeRozan? Whatever it is. He's 7th in points per game. 7th in points per game. There is nobody right now that is as fast with the basketball, that can shift the way he shifts, that can do what he does. He gets where he wants, whenever he wants. There's only one player like that. De'Aaron Fox, and I've been hard on him. De'Aaron Fox has really shown up, and nobody else showed up. That's why they lost to the Timberwolves, okay? but he showed up in a big way against Anthony Edwards, who is the chosen one, the next coming of Michael Jordan. De'Aaron Fox outplayed him. And he had Julius Randle with him. They did get the W. Then he comes back on a back-to-back against the Jazz. Sure, they're the Jazz, but 109 points. Nothing to sneeze at. Some of the disrespect that's come out of my mouth from De'Aaron Fox. But when we're talking about the Supermax and we're talking about all NBA, this is what we need from De'Aaron Fox. Maybe not this level, but this version of De'Aaron Fox can unlock the Kings and take them to the next level. Let's continue to talk about De'Aaron Fox and the rare company he's in on the other side. Like I said, plenty of Kings Wolves, talking about Kings Jazz, talking about Kings Hawks as well. We are joined by Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks at 11. Plenty to get into today. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Join Sacramento State football this Saturday at 2 for the Causeway Classic versus UC Davis. Get your tickets at HornetSports.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This Thanksgiving at Total Wine & More, find Pinot Noirs and Cabernets that you adore. Our helpful guides are so friendly and nice. So many bottles to try at the lowest price. So gather with friends as you sit down to eat. Grateful for all who made Thanksgiving complete.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. De'Aaron Fox, this brother, De'Aaron Fox, he showed a lot this weekend. First of all, I think he showed that the usage conversations that we tend to have, it's a real thing, right? And I'm not saying that De'Aaron could do what he did for 82 games, but the offense that the Kings have run or still run, it's a little bit different with DeMar DeRozan, but you can make the argument that the offense has maybe cost De'Aaron, and maybe has saved De'Aaron as far as his body is concerned, but maybe has cost De'Aaron in terms of his usage and his points per game and just the amount of De'Aaron that we're seeing night in and night out, because they have the flow offense. Whoever's open takes the shot. That's what they want. That's what it's been, and that's fine. But you look at some of the guys that essentially are the system for their teams, like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Luka Doncic, and you sit there and think, okay, well, those numbers and what they're putting up, they're getting all NBA. The guards right now that are getting all NBA, they're just putting up godly numbers. And then you look at what De'Aaron Fox has done, and the conversation is, okay, well, De'Aaron just isn't there. He hasn't been putting up numbers like that. Well, maybe it's because that system that he is in, that nobody's going to put up numbers like that. And I'm not saying that's winning basketball, even though Luka did just go to the finals, and the OKC, the Thunder, they were the 1 seed. So maybe there's something to that. But I think what this taught us is De'Aaron Fox can put up those numbers night in, night out. And I feel like he almost wanted to remind people of that during the situation. Now, as we get closer to tip-off for tonight, and of course you can hear it here on Sacktown Sports, the the home of your Sacramento Kings. As we get closer to tip-off, probably no DeMar DeRozan again, definitely no Malik Monk, and probably no Domantas Sabonis again. Can De'Aaron Fox continue to play at this clip? But the conversations that were had in the past as far as, well, he's not able or he can't play like Luka or put up those numbers or whatever it is, that all got debunked, right? Or it's in the process of being debunked. You got to do it night in, night out. And by the way, have y'all seen Luka run around? I'm not saying that this is what I want from De'Aaron Fox. Have you seen Luka these days run around? I haven't seen Luka Doncic not limp in at least a year. His knee is always bleeding. It's just bizarre. So I'm not even saying I want to see this from De'Aaron Fox night in, night out. But De'Aaron Fox wanted to remind some people that I can put up these numbers too. And he does it in such a unique way where it's not he's not the high flyer. He's not just chucking up threes. It's a very classic game. I'm going to get to my spot. It's almost a hybrid of a lot of these guys. When his three ball is falling, that's an added bonus. All right. He shot his highest 3-point percentage last season. So you hope that he can continue to move forward in that regard. 7th in points per game right now. This weekend just skyrocketed him. And he is one of the only guys that can score at 3 levels, but does it in a way that you just don't see. That mid-range floater, he can stop and pop. His change of direction. It's not even necessarily crossovers. It's just the way he's able to maneuver his body. He's one of the most unique players in the game, and nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it. Now, you got to win. So we understand that's part of it. But again, De'Aaron Fox, players who have scored at least 109 points over 2 nights. De'Aaron Fox, Kobe Bryant, and Wilt Chamberlain. That's it. That is it. He's just the second player in Kings history with over 100 points over a 2-game span since DeMarcus Cousins in 2016. He had 104. So I don't even think there's any question whether or not De'Aaron Fox is the most underrated player in the league. And we see that every time we post or every time we talk about one of these national media rankings. You got De'Aaron. Now, some of that is De'Aaron. Again, the numbers could be better. The numbers could be heavier, I should say. Because it's not that the numbers are bad, but based on the usage, based on the offense, they're just not as heavy as some of these other guys. And that's a part of the underrated aspect of this. But when you see De'Aaron Fox ranked number 25 player in the league, 26, low 20s, maybe somebody will have him at 19, it's absurd. It's absurd. And I've been hard on De'Aaron. And we know this is a huge year for De'Aaron. You're talking about $300 million plus. That's life-changing money. It's all life-changing money. I understand that, relatively speaking. But now you're entering a new realm if you can do this. And how do you do it? By entering a new realm in your career. Get all NBA. Be mentioned with the other players. Not to mention Ja Morant. We had on a Memphis Grizzly writer. He said he'd take De'Aaron Fox over Ja Morant. Now, Ja's a little bit younger. Ja also can't stay on the court. Tyrese Halliburton, one of the streakiest players in the league. He could look like he could look like an all-star, all-NBA guy one game and a JV player the next game. That's what it is with Tyrese Halliburton. Jalen Brunson right now, we know the last couple seasons have been great for Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson this season, not necessarily where he's been. Jalen Brunson, they're dealing with the transition of their own. Now, maybe if Karl Anthony Towns went out for a number of games, Jalen Brunson's numbers would go up. But that's what we just saw with Jalen Brunson last season, with Julius Randle out. That's why Jalen Brunson put up those numbers. So some of it is a little bit, did this happen because of that or what came first? But right now, Jalen Brunson is sitting at 24 points per game, 24.3. He's good for 20th. Donovan Mitchell, I know he's more of a shooting guard. He is tied for 18th. These are guys that people that don't know ball, if you will, would say are better than De'Aaron Fox. Trae Young is sitting at 23rd. And I know it's not just all about points. Trae Young sitting at 23rd. Devin Booker sitting at 21. Tyrese Maxey, he's been injured. He's at 11. Damian Lillard at 14. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 28.5. De'Aaron Fox, 28.9. And I know the 60 this weekend skyrocketed it. But who cares? It's all part of the average. So De'Aaron, look, before I get going too far here, I understand that last season De'Aaron didn't do this, but De'Aaron got off to a hot start last season. And then the season after that, or excuse me, as the season went on, months into the season, he did not play at that clip. He just didn't. So can you sustain this? But if De'Aaron does sustain this, yeah, we're having conversations about $345 million. And Vivek saying, here you go. And De'Aaron saying, where do I sign? That's where we're headed. Now, you did go 1-1, and I don't want De'Aaron having to score 60 points. Keegan Murray, we got something for you a little bit later in the show. Kevin Huerter as well, to a lesser degree. All these guys, Trey Lyles. But if De'Aaron plays like this throughout the duration of the season, maybe people will say, because it's not just national media. I'll take the calls. I've taken the texts. We shouldn't give De'Aaron that money. We should see what De'Aaron's worth. Y'all keeping the same energy or what? 916-339-1140. Call in. Sack Chat as well is rocking on YouTube if you want to hop on YouTube, and the text line. De'Aaron Fox, is he the most underrated player in the league? Well, let's talk about that historic performance against the Wolves, even though it was in a losing effort on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khtk.com.
Carmichael Dave with a simple question. What are you thankful for this year? So many things to consider, but one thing we can all agree on is a well-running vehicle to get you where you need to go each and every day. Jiffy Lube would like to say thank you to all their customers this November. Whether a weekend road trip to Lake Tahoe or your daily commute to work, Jiffy Lube has you covered. Serving the greater Sacramento area since 1984. Visit jiffylube.com today to find a location near you, generous oil change coupons, and more. Happy Thanksgiving and holiday driving from Jiffy Lube.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hi, I'm Justin Gingery. One of the most common questions I receive is what makes us different from other law firms. At Gingery, Hammer & Associates, we handle your case from beginning to end. Whether your case reaches a settlement, whether we need to file suit, or even take it all the way to trial, we will be with you along the entire way. And because we are committed to you and your case, we are as invested as you are in making sure you get the outcome you deserve. If you have an injury, just call Gingery.
And local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
We are off and rolling. Talking a lot of Kings, talking a lot of De'Aaron Fox and who he is in the league. Somebody on the Sack Chat, Patrick Donaldson, bringing up De'Aaron Fox, where he is in scoring. Yeah, so when you look, I'm on ESPN.com. There are a couple guys tied at 3. Right, so it says De'Aaron Fox is 7th. You have Giannis at number 1. You have Anthony Davis at number 2. Then you have 3 guys tied at 29.7 at number 3. And then they say, obviously, Paolo Banchero is injured, so you could maybe even bump up Paolo Banchero. Yeah, he played 5 games, so really De'Aaron is 6. It says 7, but Paolo Banchero has only played 5 games, and Tyrese Maxey's 11th. He's only played 7. Kevin Durant 11th. He's only played 9. So out of the guys that have played over 10 games, De'Aaron Fox is 6th. So it's great to see. Like we continue to bring up the evolution and Pokemon conversation, or Dragon Ball Z, if you will. We're still trying to figure out what the final product will be for this Kings team as far as who they are offensively. Because it's still not what we saw this weekend. It's good to know De'Aaron can do that, but he's not going to be doing that with DeMar DeRozan back in the fold and with Malik Monk back in the fold, and obviously with Domantas Sabonis back in the fold. So he's not going to be doing that every single night, but it's good to know he can. And there could be some nights where he has to. Maybe it's time for him to do it more often. The counterpunch could be within. You have multiple counterpunches. By the way, I mean, later in the show, I guess we got to talk Tyson and Jake Paul. That was a mess. But when you talk about counterpunches, you already knew you had something with De'Aaron and DeMar DeRozan, but now you're adding something else. All right? De'Aaron's ability to just say, I'm going to put the team on my back. By the way, he's number 1 in clutch points again. So he could be going for his second cut player of the year award. Let's get to Lewis, who wants to kick off the calls today here on the Allen Stiles Show. What's up, Lewis? 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Lewis? Happy Monday. What you got?
Hey. Right. Happy Monday. Go ahead. I'm the first one, so go ahead. Give me my cheers. Give me my flowers. All of that. But look about this. I love De'Aaron Fox. Mm-hmm. He's an amazing player. When you look at the Kings and so forth, when you look at the full picture of them, I'd rather see De'Aaron score 24 and make that critical shot that closes the team out, right? So he's missed 2 already this season that could have closed teams out. We could have 2 more victories, but those shots rattled out, right? Mm-hmm. So I just don't want to get crazy. Let him get to a point where he's starting to think that it's about the 60-point nights, the 40-point nights. We've had some opportunities to win some games. Fox had the ball in his hands. I'm going to be the first one to say it. Sometimes it skittles out of bounds on it, right? Mm-hmm. Sometimes he misses that wide open shot. With that being said, I'm going to swing around. Keegan, I love you. Keegan, he doesn't get the ball back. He plays the right way. He gives the ball up. He doesn't get it back. He's not as selfish as he needs to be. At this point, though, I have to look at him and say, son, you're not as aggressive as you need to be. Now I'm gonna finish you up with this. I didn't need to see Mike Tyson's flabby behind, but it made me feel good. I love y'all, man. Have a great day.
It wasn't flabby.
Thanks for the call, Lewis. Great stuff there. Yeah, that. Trust me. 1 o'clock rolls around. Top stories, top of the hour. We will talk Tyson and Jake Paul and the mess that is in Netflix and just the spectacle that it was supposed to be and the spectacle that it was. And to your point, Lewis, hang on, because 11:30, that's when we're going to have that conversation around 11:30. What is going on with Keegan Murray? So we got some conversations. This is a Monday filled with uncomfortable conversations, whether it's about Kyle Shanahan, Keegan Murray. It's time to get a little bit uncomfortable here. So, Lewis, 11 o'clock hour, we will definitely talk Keegan Murray and what in the world is happening. Also, Keon Ellis in the mini doghouse, if you will. But as we get back to the golden boy in the NBA right now, Anthony Edwards, he did have some great praise for De'Aaron Fox with De'Aaron Fox's performance. And obviously the praise is a little nice or nicer when you get the W, but it was kind of cool to hear what he had to say. Here it is.
and De'Aaron Fox bring the best out of each other, both of you just going at it. What do you like about going up against him, and how were you able to overcome what he brought today, 60 points?
I've been a fan of his for a long time. I mean, just watching him, I always felt like he was underrated, appreciated by everybody. And he showed it today who he is. To me, he's one of the best point guards in the league, and he showed it, man. I was guarding him. He scored on me a whole bunch of times. I got a couple stops, so that's what you love about the game. You know, the best two players on the floor going at each other. So that was fun.
It felt like De'Aaron Fox was reminding everybody, no, I can do this too. We play in a different offense. I play within myself. I don't have the ball for 80% of the game, very similar to what Anthony Edwards is doing right now. You could put Anthony Edwards in that conversation right now. I know Julius Randle is getting his, but it's a lot of Anthony Edwards. We know. So De'Aaron Fox not in a similar situation like that. But when put in that situation, De'Aaron Fox can do it too. He can score with the best of them. He can boogie with the best of them. He can get down the way a lot of people don't realize that he can get down, and he can do it in a lot of different ways. And he was feeling himself a little bit. This is what he had to say after the game where he scored 60, but the Wolves got the win. Here it is.
I mean, I knew I was nice already, so I wouldn't really say so, but I mean, just knowing the type of teammates that I had, like Malik's, I think whenever I had 48, like we're in the fourth quarter, Malik's like, you might as well go get 60. And I'm like, I want this game to end in the fourth quarter, so I don't even want to have the opportunity to. But I mean, all my teammates wanted me to keep going, obviously. And but at the end of the day, I think, you know, to win these type of games, like you have to do it, you know, as a team. And you know, at times whenever I'm getting like Rudy pulled out, and I'm not chasing the ball, you know, guys are looking at me like, come get the ball. But, you know, me being, you know, kind of how I am, I'm like, yo, we have the best shot blocker in the league he's probably second behind. He's second behind Victor now, but the best shot blocker ever. He's standing at the 3-point line. He doesn't want me to get the ball. So as for me, I'm like, you know, go to the basket, touch the paint. If we miss, we more than likely are going to get an offensive rebound because he doesn't want to leave my body. So, but I already knew I was nice.
De'Aaron Fox. I mean, you can feel yourself a little bit. And I know there are going to be people out there, hey, why is De'Aaron talking like this after a loss? Well, he dropped 60. And if anybody else on the team had a pulse, they would have won the game. That's number one. And number two, you're talking about De'Aaron Fox. And I know they're not the same level of defense as they were last season where they were number one. But this season, still one of the top defenses. You're talking about Anthony Edwards, who prides himself on his defense. Just like De'Aaron said, you're talking about Rudy Gobert, one of the best shot blockers ever. And you're talking about Jaden McDaniels, who is touted as one of the top defenders in the league. That's who De'Aaron Fox did it against. We could talk about the 49 against the Jazz, who stink as well, and there was no Sabonis. We could talk about the 49, but he did that against one of the top defenses in the league. He dropped 60 against the Anthony Edwards, a Rudy Gobert, a Jaden McDaniels, a Nickeil Alexander-Walker. These guys are good defenders. And they all knew De'Aaron Fox was going to have to be that guy. And they couldn't stop him. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, and it doesn't make a difference. Here's my fastball. Either hit it or not. And they could not stop him. Now, they did get the W, and like I said, I understand what Lewis is saying when he called in. Hey, obviously, if De'Aaron Fox scores 27, 30, and other guys are in the mix, yes, some of that, let's be honest here, some of that is, and I posted about this during the game, there are a couple ways to approach defense or approach an offense when you know that really only one guy can beat you, right? I think the traditional way of thinking is get the ball out of his hands. But we've seen this with LeBron in the past. We've seen this with other players. That might be the traditional way, but a lot of these teams have found a new way to approach it where it's, no, we actually don't mind if this guy scores as much as possible because the other guys aren't going to get going or haven't gotten going, and ultimately they're going to have to do something. And I do think there was a level of that with the Timberwolves. Now, the Timberwolves, I don't want to say allow, De'Aaron took that, but the Timberwolves did not expect, using that defensive strategy, that De'Aaron would bring them all the way back by himself. They did not expect that. That was not part of the plan. But I do feel like the Timberwolves, ultimately they did get the W, were okay with De'Aaron Fox cooking to some level. Not to that level, but to some level. And he just couldn't get help from anybody else that game. Nobody else. So De'Aaron Fox goes out, drops 60, and the Timberwolves, who at the start, hey, let's just kind of let De'Aaron do his thing. As long as Kevin Huerter, Keegan Murray, those guys don't get going, we're cool. We're up 20. It's all gravy. De'Aaron Fox then said, if you're gonna say it's De'Aaron and nobody else, then I'm gonna make it De'Aaron and nobody else. And ultimately, they weren't able to get it done. But De'Aaron did overcome, I think, what the Wolves initially felt like they were trying to do. De'Aaron took it to a level that surpassed what the Wolves expected. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Casey. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Casey? You're on with Allen Stiles. What you got?
What's up, Alan? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thanks.
Hey, so a couple things about the Kings. First off, just watching Keegan Murray over the last couple of years and this year, he's not that guy. He only takes shots when he's wide open, and it seems like he has the ability to create a shot in the mid-range, but unless he's wide open for three, he's passing up that shot. And if he wants to be that guy that scores 20-plus that we need, he's going to have to start taking shots that are a little bit more contested that he's uncomfortable with, and seeing how that goes, because I see him just only taking uncontested shots, and he's not even hitting those at a high rate anymore. But the main reason I called was to talk about Fox. I think a lot of us Kings fans have seen over the years that it feels like De'Aaron Fox is holding back at times. And I think this is what we've seen over the last two games, is that if he doesn't hold back, this is what he can do. He can be that guy, a top 10 NBA player. And, I think it's maybe time for Mike Brown. I've never really been a big fan of Mike Brown's rotations, but how crazy of an idea is it to have DeMar DeRozan and Monk come off the bench together and let De'Aaron cook to start the game and stagger De'Aaron and DeRozan's minutes, because you could essentially almost have like two starting fives with this team if you bring DeRozan and Monk off the bench together, and maybe even move Huerter and Murray around, because Fox needs to cook. That's what needs to happen, and he's shown that he can do it. We've seen it before, and now his best season was when it was just him and Sabonis basically, and Murray's rookie year, and now with DeRozan in, it just seems like the offense is not what it was. And if we had DeRozan and Monk coming off the bench, I think that could be a killer unit too. What do you think?
Yeah, thanks for the call, Casey. Well, that's not going to happen, right? He's not going to come off the bench, but I'll play the game because, Casey, you're a great caller, and we appreciate you. We appreciate you being a part of the show and the conversation. The issue with that, ultimately, is how you started the call, right? It's Keegan Murray. If you even wanted to play with that idea, you'd have to be getting so much more from Keegan Murray, because essentially you would just be turning into that Lucas-style offense or that Shea-style offense where it's everybody, and I guess maybe Keegan would be good for it. Maybe it would simplify it. So you'd have Keegan, Kevin Huerter, Domantas Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, and then I guess Trey Lyles. So it's essentially you cook De'Aaron and everybody else. Obviously, Domantas Sabonis is going to be in the interior, but De'Aaron cooks and he either gets a shot off or he kicks it out for a three, right? And I just think that as much as we liked what we saw from De'Aaron Fox this weekend, as I mentioned before, I do believe that there was a level of, from the Timberwolves, we know De'Aaron can't score. I mean, he scored 60. We know De'Aaron can't score 120, whatever. He can't score every single point. So they allowed De'Aaron to a certain degree to kind of do his thing. I just think other teams, number one, I think it would be really tough on De'Aaron for his body. Let's not forget, he's doing all this with a jacked up finger. All right, let's not forget. He's doing all this with a jacked up finger. So I think it would be tough on De'Aaron from a usage rate or a usage conversation. There are crazier ideas out there, but ultimately, I just don't think that there's enough. It's a balance, right? It would help De'Aaron from a scoring perspective. I just don't know that it would help the team.
I have a stat to back up what you're saying here. This is a large sample size too. Fox is 52-43, or the Kings are, when scoring 30-plus points. That's a large size. That's only 9 games over 500. That's not great.
No.
That's really not great. And granted, the Kings haven't been good. Mm-hmm. Maybe a lot of those points come in garbage time, but it's big enough to be like, okay, he doesn't need to score 30 for the Kings to win.
No.
That's not how they always do it. He can score 14.
Right.
Seriously, especially with DeRozan in the mix now. So I don't think letting Fox just take over points wise is always the right answer.
All of these ridiculous games, most of it, not just with the Kings, most of the time, these ridiculous games for players, they come in losses because it means nobody else was doing anything. So I don't think it's sustainable. I think it would be really fun to watch at times, but I don't think it would be winning basketball. And that we've seen, De'Aaron Fox has also been really hot. What happens when he's not hot, right? I mean, so not as crazy as people are probably going to make it seem. KC, thanks for the call, but I just don't think it's terribly realistic. Let's continue the conversation as we check in on the Kings. Should we feel better or worse? And the updates on DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, and Domantas Sabonis. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The quest for ring number 6 happens here on Sacktown Sports 1140.
My ball, George went up and caught the ball. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Listen on Sacktown Sports for all the 49ers action.
Jennings went up and took it away. What a catch by JJ! He scored 3 touchdowns today.
Quest for 6 lives here on your local sports leader, Sacktown Sports 1140.
Join Sacramento State football this Saturday at 2 for the Causeway Classic versus UC Davis. Get your tickets at HornetSports.com.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
I plan to rearrange my closet, but I stopped after picking the clothes up off the floor.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's award-winning language learning app will help you start speaking another language. Start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks.
Comment tu t'appelles? Comment tu t'appelles? Vous êtes où?
Vous êtes où?
Babbel's bite-sized lessons make it easy to learn words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks,
"How's your French going?"
you can say,
Babbel est amusant et facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue. Et cela ne prend que 15 minutes par jour.
When you want to really learn another language, it starts with Babbel. Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more. And then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family, or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Black Friday savings on now on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy.
$8,000 off MSRP after rebates. Every new 2025 half-ton LT, RST, LTZ, and High Country in stock at Maida Chevy.
Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, and other offers. Ends 12/1/24. Source internet search 11/2/24.
Facts are facts, and the facts show that for eliminating hip, knee, back, leg, and foot pain, it's the Good Feet personalized arch support system, clinically proven to provide significant pain relief in only 4 weeks. Good Feet arch supports are designed to help put your feet and whole body back in pain-relieved proper alignment. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book your free fitting at Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Shop early, save big, all month long during Black Friday build-up at Lowe's. Right now, get select pre-lit artificial Christmas trees starting at just $59.98. Don't wait to save. Shop these deals today, in-store or online, because Lowe's knows deals. Discount taken at time of purchase while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching
Does this have peanuts?
to waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Sports and subscribe.
De'Aaron Fox was feeling so fresh and so clean this weekend. Keegan Murray, not so much. And man, oh man, people are trying to get me to do the Keegan Murray segment now. Everybody wants to talk about Keegan. What's wrong with Keegan? We're going to get to it. We are going to get to it. Don't move. 11 o'clock hour. You know how we get down. 11 o'clock. In 10 minutes, we will be joined by Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks to talk about the Atlanta Hawks, what they've done this season, and what he sees from the Kings so far. And yes, we will get to Keegan Murray and what is going on with Keegan Murray. 916-339-1140. You want to be a part of the conversation. This is interesting. This is interesting. This is from the 530. Not the first text of the day, but the first text being featured today. The problem with Fox has and always will be his leadership qualities. His game has never been the issue. The fact he signed with Under Armour diminishes his credibility immediately. I don't think he's respected in the locker room. 530, I assume you're saying that's because Steph Curry is involved and it's Steph Curry's brand. I'm assuming that's where you're going. I think that's ridiculous. I'm going to be completely honest with you. And look, we can have conversations about De'Aaron Fox's leadership qualities, and I think this season has been a complete 180 on last season where you had podium gate and who's talking after big losses, and it's Keon Ellis and people that are players that didn't really contribute. Why are they having the conversations? Hey, is it the PR team's job to get De'Aaron out there? Should De'Aaron be saying, no, Keon, it's going to be me. I'm going to talk. How does that system even work? Mike Brown was asked about it. We can have conversations about De'Aaron Fox's leadership, but you bringing up that De'Aaron Fox signed with Under Armour, that's a thing that might annoy fans, but I'm fairly certain that players don't look at De'Aaron Fox any differently because he signed with Under Armour. Hey, man, what do we think? He's not going to play as hard against the Warriors? He's not going to D up Steph Curry, I'm just not really understanding. This is a business, all right? If he signed with Under Armour, I'm willing to think that there was a couple million reasons. So, come on. That's kind of nuts. That's kind of nuts. That's like I said, fans might be annoyed with it because you don't like Steph Curry if you are a Sacramento Kings fan, or maybe a lot of people don't, but there is no way anybody in that locker room gives a you-know-what about De'Aaron Fox being signed to Under Armour. There's no way. Get your money. Get your money, and you get a shoe deal, and you're getting your own shoe. These guys are going to China. These guys are going overseas. They are getting in wherever they fit in. And you get a chance to sign with a top 20 player of all time who's still playing, and you get to go, you get to travel to China, do tours. We know now it's all about branding. Come on now. And be the first on that shoe deal, the first one to sign. Come on. That's crazy. That's crazy. But as we check in on the Kings and whether or not we should feel better or worse about them, I feel the same, Nate. I don't know about you, but I feel the same. 916-339-1140. How are you feeling about the Kings? I feel the same about them. They needed to get that Jazz win was monumental. As much as we were all excited about De'Aaron Fox dropping 60, the reality is they had an opportunity to win that game against Minnesota, and they couldn't get it done. It was a great comeback, and I thought it was a heartbreaking loss. It's just not really being talked about that way because of De'Aaron, but it easily could have snowballed with Colin Sexton, and you know the type of dog he is, and Lauri Markkanen, all those guys getting cleared to play. They were only missing, I believe, Walker Kessler. That could have ended up being a terrible weekend. That could have ended up being a terrible weekend if they lose to the Jazz. So ultimately, happy for De'Aaron Fox. He's the story of the weekend. But as far as the Kings are concerned, I don't feel any better about the Kings. The only reason I would maybe feel worse is because I don't know how much time you're going to be able to lose without Domantas Sabonis. I mean, he's the Iron Man. He plays sick. He plays injured. So Domantas Sabonis missing time, that's not a good sign. And tonight you go up against a pretty big Atlanta Hawks team with Clint Capella and all those dudes. I mean, Riss Sachet has been balling, Jalen Johnson. So the Kings already were struggling on the interior, and now you take away Domantas Sabonis. That's a problem. So I don't feel any better or any worse about the Kings right now. Maybe worse just because they got to get healthy. That's just what it is right now. And they get the W against the Jazz, so they're still just floating in this win a game, lose a game, win a game, lose a game. Now, it felt better and it was cool to watch, but ultimately that's still who they are right now. And you're starting to see, all right, you blinked, and now we're, 7% or whatever percent done with the season. You start blinking here, maybe more than that. You blink, and you're starting to see some separation in the standings. And last week, it was too early to talk about standings, or that's what I was told. But now this week, you think, whoa, all right, back 3 games, back 4 games. You're missing Malik Monk. You're missing DeMar DeRozan. You're missing Sabonis. This is why game 1, people overreact when you have opportunities to win. And because I think too many people just assume health. You can't assume health. It's the great equalizer. It's the worst thing about sports, but it's the great equalizer. So when people are telling me, Allen, you need to relax, it's only game 5. Okay, well, how many games do you think they're going to have fully loaded? We don't know. So the games that you do get fully loaded, no, you can't lose to the Toronto Raptors. No, you can't lose to the San Antonio Spurs because you look back on it and y'all were fully loaded. And now you're missing 3 dudes. And we don't know how long that's going to be. So that's why every single game, even though they're 82 and it's a long season, every single game matters because you cannot assume health. That's just the reality of the situation. The reality of our situation is that we will be joined by Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks on the other side as we discuss what they're doing down there in hot Atlanta. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown!
hits. Let's go. It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Did you know that replacing garage doors is the biggest return on investment homeowners can get on improvements? Jason Ross here, and let me tell you about the Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, a family-owned and operated company with third-generation owners that's been in business for 71 years right here in Sacramento. With new garage doors from Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, you'll not only get the wow factor, but you'll also know that you're working with a well-respected and proven company. Residential and commercial, brand new garage doors, or repairs to existing doors, they do it all. Take advantage of their free at-home estimates on new garage doors, or check out the showroom with no appointment needed. And while you're at it, mention me, Jason Ross, or Sacktown Sports, and receive $100 off a new garage door paired with a new garage door opener. Check out their website at ohdsac.com or call them at 916-421-3747. Overhead Door Company of Sacramento, the genuine, the original overhead door. Always look for the red ribbon logo.
More expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
Windshield wipers. eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health, and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The holidays are always a great time to get together with family and friends, but nothing beats the thrill of Stockton Honda's deals. During Happy Honda Days, find the perfect ride in person or online. With over 400 new Hondas ready to go, now is the time to buy at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's L1 report.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
1 hour down. 3 to go. Then we hand you over to the drive guys as we get ready for tip-off with the Kings hosting the Atlanta Hawks. And speaking of the Atlanta Hawks, we are joined by Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks. Brad, thank you so much for joining. Happy Monday.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate you guys having me.
Brad, let's start here. The Hawks sitting at 6-8. Are they better, worse, or exactly what you expected going into the season?
I think somewhere between what I expected, maybe a little bit worse, but it's kind of explainable too. They've been banged up at some key positions where they can't afford to be banged up. Everyone has injuries in the NBA, but the Hawks built their roster with a couple of places where they couldn't afford it, and they kind of got immediately bit by the injury bug in those bad places. But 6 and 8's kind of, if you prorate it out, about what was projected for this team, win percentage wise. Early on, they had a couple of bad losses. They had one great upset win against Boston. It's been kind of what you'd expect, even with all of the up and down nature.
Talking to Brad Rowland here of Locked On Hawks. Brad, there were a lot of conversations about your point guard. We were talking about De'Aaron Fox, and I'll ask you your thoughts on his performance a little bit later. A lot of conversations about your point guard this summer, Trae Young, whether he was going to go to the Spurs or whether he was going to go to the Lakers. Were you surprised that he didn't get moved, and do you still think there's a chance that he could get moved?
I was not surprised. I think it was the first time that the Hawks at least maybe thought about it. Before that, it was kind of a no-brainer. Like, he was just their franchise player, and they were going to go that way. And I think he still is a franchise player right now, but it's not a foregone conclusion that he'll be around long-term the way that it used to be, if that makes sense. But I think, the only thing that I was expecting going into the offseason was that they were going to move on from one of Murray or Trae Young or DeJounte Murray, and they chose to move on from DeJounte Murray. And that made more sense. I think he was the more expendable piece. It just didn't work between those two guys, and Trae Young's a better player, so they went in that direction, and Trae Young's still really good. At the same time, he'll be a free agent in a year and a half, and then you can kind of have to decide what's going to happen from that point forward. So I wasn't surprised. I think that he certainly could be moved in the future, but I think it's much more likely to be in the offseason if that were to happen. I think during the season it's probably not going to happen this year because they're still kind of built around him to some degree.
Real quick, Brad, why didn't it work with DeJounte Murray? DeJounte Murray, to me, as we've been discussing De'Aaron Fox as maybe the most underrated player in the league. I don't know if DeJounte is there. I think he gets his flowers, but I really like DeJounte Murray. Kind of tough situation getting injured so early in the season out there in New Orleans, but why do you think it didn't work? I mean, in theory, we all see the vision. Trae Young stretches the floor with his three-point shooting. DeJounte Murray, an improved three-point shooter, but can do things within the keys. Got a good mid-range, and he's a dog defensively. We're seeing. I know the two guard thing is hot and cold these days, and right now the Cavs are hot. But over the offseason, we thought either Donovan Mitchell or that situation was just with Darius Garland was going to blow up as well. But why didn't it work?
Yeah, I think the way that you lay it out is kind of what they were thinking. There was the thought process was, all right, we need a secondary ball handler who can also create some on his own when Trae's off the floor, and DeJounte did that for the most part. I think defensively they were hoping he was going to make a culture difference, but that didn't really happen. I think ultimately it didn't work for two reasons. One, that they didn't play off each other all that well. Like, it was totally okay when they played together offensively, but it wasn't this clear boost to both guys the way you would hope it would be when they played together. And then defensively, they're just really small, and it really I think Murray was not as good as they were hoping he was going to be at the point of attack, and Trae is of course a defensive weakness. So they were just kind of small and duplicative with each other. And I think the lineup data was really rough for 2 years, and they gave it 2 years. And they kind of said, all right, this isn't working, and they got to pull the plug. But I think the thought process was kind of what you laid out exactly. It just didn't actually play out that way.
Talking to Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks. Brad, Zachary Risachet, first overall pick. I mean, first overall pick in a draft that a lot of people thought wasn't very good. And then obviously the draft happens, and now you're looking around thinking maybe this draft was kind of good. I know some guys have disappeared and some guys have arrived. How has Zachary Risachet looked for your Atlanta Hawks?
Yeah, to your point, not a traditional number one overall pick profile, and I think there was nobody in this class that had that profile, so it was a little bit more explainable, and they kind of went with the guy that they thought was going to be this two-way forward that everybody wants long-term, that kind of archetype of a player. I think he's going to be that. The only question is the efficiency right now. There's most rookies are not very good, other than the top guys, and there really are those guys in this class. He's actually shown really well defensively and doing the little things. Just the shot's not going in right now. His efficiency is pretty brutal so far. He's actually played more than he was going to because they've had injuries to DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovich. So that's kind of thrust him into bigger duty than they probably were banking on. And he's played reasonably well as far as the overall is concerned, but the shot's not falling. And if your shot's not falling, it becomes difficult, especially for a young guy. You hope he doesn't lose confidence, et cetera. He hasn't really done that. He's been pretty aggressive. But he's just been a rookie in a lot of different ways, even if I would say he's actually a little bit more mature than he probably projects to be at 19 years old. Most guys are not at that stage, but he's just right now he's a role player, and we'll see if that changes.
Talking to Brad Rowland, Locked On Hawks. Brad, a couple guys, like you said, due to injury and guys just taking a leap. The big story this summer was Jalen Johnson being the quote-unquote only untouchable on the Hawks, and the Hawks thinking really highly of him. The season has started, and we're seeing Jalen Johnson do some things. Dyson Daniels is balling out as well as a dog defensively. Who's been the biggest surprise on that Atlanta Hawks team so far?
Yeah, I think they're definitely they love Jalen. He's averaging, I think, 19 and 10 with 5 assists, which is like pretty rare air to be doing this early in the season. He's obviously played well, and Dyson Daniels, I think, is basically lighting up the stat sheet in a way that it's like been unforeseen. Like he's averaging about 4 steals per game, which leads the league comfortably, and he's just wrecking things defensively for this team. I think those two guys are probably at the top of the lineup, along with Trae Young, as like the guys who are obviously core pieces for this roster. Those three, and Reece Shea, who they just drafted number 1 overall, of course. But I think in terms of surprise, especially nationally, I would say it's probably Daniels, because he was in a smaller role in New Orleans. The Hawks have given him that starting role from day one, and he's playing a lot of minutes, and I think he's justifying that with his defense. I think right now he's been one of the better defenders in the league so far this year. If that holds, we'll see, but certainly through 14 games, he's played that part. And offensively, he's also averaging 15 points a game and doing some more creation offensively. So I think he's the kind of breakout so far for the Hawks.
Brad, you mentioned Trae Young and how you don't think Trae Young would get moved during the season. Is there anybody on this Hawks team that you think, okay, if this thing goes more left than right, maybe they could become available? Any names that have been circulated as far as the Clint Capellas of the world, or could it go in the other direction and the Hawks could turn into buyers? How do you see? I know we blink and we're already 10 plus games into the season to talk about kind of trades and things like that, but how do you see this thing playing out?
Yeah, I think that they are still in a position where they could go either way. They don't have their own pick this year, which makes it hard to go the seller route, because it's like, why are you selling when you don't have your own pick? You're trying to win games to some degree. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, they do have, especially at center, you mentioned Capella. I think they basically have 3 centers who they like, and they're all like, none of them are incredible. So it's a situation where they have too many bodies at this position, and they're all good players. Capella, Onyeka Okongwu, and Larry Nance, 2 of which are expiring contracts, and Capella and Nance. I think it would not surprise anyone if they traded one of those guys, just because it's kind of a log jam right now. That's more of the like easy button trade they could potentially make. If they were going a little bit bigger, maybe your old pal in Sacramento, Bogdanovich, would be the other guy. They love him, to be fair. Like they've kind of not wanted to trade him for a long time, but if things did go south, he's an older guy. He's 32 years old. He signed on a good contract the next couple seasons. If they really did fall off a lot, maybe that's the way you do it, is to send him to a contending team where he can really help a contender and move on there. But I think they're kind of in this middle ground right now where it's not going to be a clear buy or sell.
Brad Rowland, thanks for joining. Before we let you go, what did you think of De'Aaron Fox this weekend, and what do you think of this Kings team? We talked about the 2 guard thing with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young not working out. I know DeMar DeRozan is playing the 3 and the 4, but what did you think about the move, the Kings getting DeMar DeRozan, how they've been so far, and De'Aaron Fox balling out this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, I like the DeMar move for the Kings, and of course the Hawks have an interest in the Kings this year too with their draft compensation, and that old Kevin Huerter trade is still hanging out there.
Right.
But, that was a good move. Kind of like, definitely a floor raiser, nothing else. DeMar is a really good player who can do a lot of different things, kind of give them a different element. And Fox, is it 109 points in 2 games?
Yes, sir.
Final tally. That's a pretty outrageous weekend for any player. So certainly he's playing well, and obviously he'll have to do a lot tonight with a couple guys ruled out for the Kings. So that'll be interesting.
Brad Rowland, thank you so much. Locked On Hawks. We'll have you on again soon. I would say good luck. Good luck the rest of the season, just not tonight.
Absolutely. I understand it, and I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks again, Brad. Great stuff. Brad Rowland, Locked On Hawks. Always a good conversation. Well, we got something there. Brad with some information. Look, and I liked Orlando Robinson. Okay. He played with the Kings, and then he went straight to Stockton. He's been working his butt off. You look at the Clint Capellas of the world and Larry Nance on expiring contracts. I don't know when the next Kings roundtable is, but there will be conversations. There will be conversation between those 2 guys. Obviously, 2 different types of players. Larry Nance can stretch the floor at times. Clint Capella's not going to do that. Clint Capella is a very classic center in what he does, a pick and roll, and he's going to just give you the lob threat, of course. And Larry Nance does, don't get me wrong. Larry Nance actually played really well against the Kings because he was wearing a Pelicans jersey, so that's just typically how that goes. But I think both of those guys, there would be a conversation to be had, but obviously it's a little bit early. We don't know what the Hawks would want, of course. But yeah, interesting stuff there. And Brad saying that things could go south, but Trae Young is probably going to be an Atlanta Hawk for the foreseeable future. I'm looking up here. Larry Nance right now from 3-point range, because that's where everybody goes first. Larry Nance he's taking 2.4 a game. Larry Nance is shooting 63%. 63%. He's playing 15 minutes a game. He's played in 9 games so far. He's shooting 63% from 3-point range, averaging 2.4 a game. So not a ton, but I mean, I'll take that. Today's not the day. Today's not the day, but I would have that conversation. And Clint Capella as well. Depends on what the Hawks want. Obviously, as Brad mentioned, there's a relationship there from Red Velvet and his time out there in Atlanta. All right. This is a show of the people. And everybody wants to talk Keegan Murray. So the 11 o'clock hour is here. That's exactly what we're going to do. What is wrong with Keegan Murray? And it's time for that uncomfortable conversation. What is truly his ceiling? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Join Sacramento State football this Saturday at 2 for the Causeway Classic versus UC Davis. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Thanks again, Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks. Little Soulja Boy, Kiss Me Through the Phone. Nate, you've kind of been on it today. You've been pretty good today with the music. I'm impressed. I like your set today.
I'm not doing too much different, so maybe Stockholm Syndrome or something kicking in for you.
I feel like I haven't heard a Tyler the Creator yet.
Okay. I don't know. I mean, Tyler the Creator is top stories at the top of the hour. That's a odd future bet.
That's like not like us at Golden One. You're gonna hear it.
Yeah, you're gonna hear the hits.
You're play the hits. That's what we're told in this industry. And speaking of playing the hits, this is a new one, and maybe this is going to be a new hit that gets played because Keegan Murray has gone from the lovable young star on the team to, dare I say, public enemy number 1. Okay, so when De'Aaron Fox did his thing this weekend, well, both games, but specifically the 60-point game and the Kings got the L, this is what I said on Twitter. The true story of the game is Kevin Huerter, Trey Lyles, and Keon Ellis combining for 14 points. That is absolutely brutal. Now, in that game, Keegan Murray had 14 points. He was 6 of 15. So I felt, he played 45 minutes. So I felt like Keegan Murray shouldn't be a part of that conversation. You give us 15 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double. That's not the reason why they lost. Somebody responded, Philip Nugent responded to me and got a good amount of traction as far as the responses. And Philip says, even truer is that the potential of Keegan offensively is far from realized. This is a game we needed 20 from him, and he was just as scared to shoot as everyone else. Banked in a poo-poo three, airballed in the corner, misses around the rim. The guys you mentioned are true role players, while Keegan is supposed to be a, quote, corner piece. I said, hey, we can have that conversation. But to me, from a larger standpoint, but to me, for this game specifically, what I said is more of the issue than Keegan Murray. But it did get me thinking about Keegan Murray and this idea that every time we talk about Keegan Murray, or Mike Brown talks about Keegan Murray, it's how we're asking Keegan to do so much, and it's tough, and that's why his shooting has struggled, because we're asking Keegan Murray to do so much. We're asking Keegan Murray to defend the best wing on the team, possibly the guard if it's a bigger guard. We're asking Keegan Murray to rebound at a high clip. We're asking Keegan Murray to shoot the basketball at a high clip. We're asking him to do so much. And it got me thinking, is that a lot? Are the Kings actually asking Keegan Murray to do too much? Is that true? Because if you're going to be a 4th overall pick, of course a lot is going to be asked of you. It's either that or you're a bust, right? I mean, them's the breaks when you're a top 5 pick, not even top 10, top 5. So are they asking Keegan Murray to do too much? You're not asking Keegan Murray to be a top scorer on the team, not anymore, with DeMar DeRozan and Sabonis. So you're asking Keegan Murray to be a 4th scoring option, yes, to defend at a high level and rebound the basketball, but I hate to say it. Are we getting to the conversation of, is Keegan being coddled a little bit? Just a little? I mean, we're not asking him to take the keys to the franchise, and a lot of 4th overall picks are asked to take the keys to the franchise. Not asking that. Not right now. So every time Keegan's struggles shooting the basketball comes up, it's, oh, well, we're asking him to do a lot. Are you? I mean, Keegan Murray, if there was ever a prop talk, you know the prop talk I would take if it was available? Keegan Murray, whatever the point spread was, Keegan Murray under 4th quarter points. The man does not want to shoot in the 4th quarter. Really the second half, but mostly the 4th quarter. And I get it. A lot of times De'Aaron Fox, now DeMar DeRozan, they're going to take over. But Keegan Murray does not want to shoot the basketball in crunch time. He doesn't want to do it. That first game against the Timberwolves, we had the double pump. That was a play that was drawn. And look, there's only one basketball. I understand that. But there's no Malik Monk, no Domantas Sabonis, no DeMar DeRozan. Keegan Murray took 6 shots. This is Keegan Murray's line against the Jazz. 39 minutes, 2 for 6 from the field, 1 for 4 from 3-point range, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 5 points. No Malik Monk, no DeMar DeRozan, no Domantas Sabonis. They almost lost that game. De'Aaron Fox had to score 49. He's literally the Jimmy Butler meme in the bubble. That is completely unacceptable from Keegan Murray. And that's why I have a problem with this whole doghouse thing, because the doghouse thing doesn't apply to everybody. Keon Ellis against the Timberwolves passed up a shot, a wide open 3. Could have won the Kings the game. Keon Ellis misses that shot. And the first rotation against the Jazz, Mason Jones, and look, Jordan McLaughlin's been playing well. Mason Jones is in the game. So you're dang near publicly shaming Keon Ellis. Now he got in, but Keon, you should have shot that shot. And because you didn't, now Mason Jones is going to come in for you. So everybody's going to know Keegan or Keon got skipped in the rotation with no Malik Monk and no DeMar DeRozan because Keon didn't do what he was supposed to do. And Keon has not really been playing well. But the doghouse thing, it bothers me. Meanwhile, Keegan Murray, who against the Timberwolves, yeah, he was 6 for 15, 2 for 7, 14 points, not a bad game. You'd still like more. You'd still like more from Keegan Murray there. No doghouse, and I don't think that's doghouse worthy. But Keegan Murray now, and I get it, you can't afford, what you're telling Keon is that he's replaceable. Maybe you're arguing that Keegan Murray isn't replaceable. But I have a problem with that. Keegan Murray, 2 for 6, 1 for 4, 5 points. No DeMar. No Malik Monk. No Sabonis. Is Keegan going to be in the doghouse? That sounds pretty doghousey to me. Probably not, because you can't afford to. Is he at least going to get a stern talking to? That's a bad game. That is not acceptable. We're going to sit here and argue with people about Keegan Murray being an untouchable, and you're pulling this mess? That's bad. That's just bad. So if you're Coach Mike Brown, it's Keegan. What are you doing? And the caller that chimed in before we had Brad on from Locked On Hawks talking about Keegan, yeah, Keegan Murray only takes shots when he is wide open. He doesn't have a slow shot, but Keegan Murray does not shoot off the dribble. When is the last time Keegan Murray shot off the dribble? So we're asking him to catch and shoot, to defend at a high level, and to rebound as the 4th overall pick because you are untouched. We are not getting Lauri Markkanen. That is reported. Now, you can have your conversation about Lauri Markkanen on the side. Lauri Markkanen for you, Keegan, and you put up 6 shots, missing 2 starters and 6 man of the year candidate. And that's untouchable? Come on, man. 916-339-1140. What to do about Keegan Murray? Let's get into what Mike Brown had to say about Keegan's struggles and how he can come out on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named the top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue, Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
Nita Chevy saves you $8,000 off MSRP on every new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT, RST, LTZ, and High Country in stock after rebates. All of them.
Black Friday savings now at NativeChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 12/1/24.
Facts are facts, and the facts show that for eliminating hip, knee, back, leg, and foot pain, it's the Good Feet personalized arch support system, clinically proven to provide significant pain relief in only 4 weeks. Good Feet arch supports are designed to help put your feet and whole body back in pain-relieved proper alignment. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book your free fitting at Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Join Sacramento State football this Saturday at 2 for the Causeway Classic versus UC Davis. Get your tickets at HornetSports.com.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
That's a Mike Brown sound on Keegan Murray. We're about to get into 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation, like Esteban does here on the text line. Defending the other team's best player, that is a ton of work. What are we talking about? These dudes are not robots, LOL. Well, that's fine, but that's just, you're not untouchable to me. If what we're asking, or what the Kings are asking, Keegan Murray seems to be too much, that is not an untouchable player to me. Not in this West, not with this timeline, with DeMar DeRozan being closer to 40 than 30. With De'Aaron Fox being in his prime, with Domantas Sabonis being in his prime, then he's not untouchable. If what they're asking Keegan Murray is too much, then he should not be untouchable. That's where I'm at with that right now. And he can go out there and score 40 tonight, and I promise you I feel the same way. Amid Rock says this Keegan scrutiny is out of bounds. 2 weeks ago, we were talking about watching Keegan developing into a true 3-and-D guy. He might be in a slump. Yeah, but a slump is when you are missing shots. He's not even taking them. He took 6. I would love to have a conversation about Keegan. Just chuck it up. We don't show us that you can take the initiative with 3 dudes out, 3 high-level scorers out, 3 huge production pieces for your team out. Show us that you can at least say, I understand the assignment. Like the kids say. He didn't even understand the assignment. The assignment wasn't, Keegan, you need to put up 25. It was, Keegan, you need to be aggressive. He took 6. 6. How is that even possible? I truly don't even know how that's possible. You had to scrape and claw a win against the Jazz, who are squirrely, but they stink. They stink. You're untouchable. Lauri Markkanen, no. I know they wanted more. I'm sure it was a terrible offer. But based on what was written by The Athletic, Lauri Markkanen, no. No Keegan, off the table. Fine. So we can't have it both ways. A slump is when you're missing shots. He's not even taking them. There has to be some type of evolution or transition of Keegan's mind frame when it comes to this stuff. We know he's talented. But it's more than that. There are a lot of talented dudes out there. There's a lottery picks every single season. All right, let's hear from Mike Brown on Keegan Murray and the struggles and how they are trying to get him to snap out of it. Here it is.
Start to a season.
He's a very, very good shooter. The one thing that everybody has to remember, his rookie year, he was strictly a catch and shoot guy. So he didn't have to think much. And then on top of that, we didn't always put him on the best perimeter player. Now he's got Markin. Excuse me. He's got Book. He's got somebody of that caliber every single night. And then we're asking him to rebound. We're asking him to run the floor. There's a lot we're asking him to do. On top of that, he's growing. He's growing his game. And so no longer is he just going to sit in the corner and wait and catch and shoot from the three-point line. He's going to take some other shots. And to a certain degree, we have to live with it some while he continues to grow and get his legs and his mind and everything underneath him.
I was curious your perspective on this because you've been asked to do more and more and more.
916-339-1140. Are the Kings asking Keegan to do too much, and or are you giving Keegan a pass, if you will? Because this is now year 2. Mike Brown said the same thing last season. He said the same thing. So this is year 2 of, hey, his shooting is going to take a hit because obviously he's being asked to do a lot. That's the second time now. So when does it become, hey, maybe he can't shoot like that doing this other stuff? When do we have that conversation? Is it another year of this? If it continues like this, when do we talk about that? That's what I want to know, because we know the answer, Mike. We've heard it before. When does that become a conversation of, hey, maybe he can't do both? When do we have that conversation? I know it's early in the season, and Keegan, I hope he goes off tonight. But there are multiple things here. There's the conversation about his actual shooting, and then there's also the conversation about his thought process and how aggressive he is. He's shooting 29.8% from 3 this season. 29.8. So, again, to talk about the roster in itself, Keegan is being asked to do a lot. Is that the best use of Keegan's talents? Should he be more catch and shoot? Because what we've seen so far in one season and 12, 13 games is that Keegan cannot shoot the way he shot. Now, not shooting the same way is fine, but now he's shooting poorly. So at what point do we at least have a conversation as far as what he is able to do and how much he's able to do? 2 for 7 against the Wolves, 1 for 4 against the Jazz. I'm not even talking about putting him in the doghouse or not starting him. That was me. That was more so me defending Keegan Murray. That was more, or excuse me, Keon Ellis. That was more so me defending Keon Ellis because I saw Mason Jones pop in there and I was just confused, right? I was just legitimately confused. So that's all that there is there. But at what point do we have that conversation? From the 916, Keegan is literally the Kings version of Brandon Belt. Can be really good often. Checks out. Light is on, but nobody is home. That is from the 916. Brandon Belt. Did not think we were going to get a Brandon Belt mention here on Monday here with Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports, but I don't think so. Brandon Belt, he was just straight up streaky. I would argue that Keegan Murray, and it's different because in baseball, you can't say, hey, I want to bat again. There's an order. You got to get up and you got to do your thing. So I think it's easier to bring up checking, and I did not think I would be defending Brandon Belt here, but it's harder to read checking out in baseball because you can only hit so many times, and it's hard to be checked out while you're at the plate. Now, you can be looking for a walk, which is what Brandon Belt loved to do, but I'll give you this, the checkout thing. I don't know if it's about Keegan checking out as much as it is about he's thinking about rebounding. He's thinking about guarding Devin Booker. It's become his priority list. To me, 3-point shooting should always be at the top of Keegan Murray's priority list. That other stuff, we got Thanksgiving coming up. 3-point shooting for Keegan Murray, that's the turkey. That is the turkey. This other stuff, the rebounding, that's the stuffing. The defense, or maybe the defense is the stuffing, because I really like some some defense. Maybe the defense is the mac and cheese. The rebounding is the stuffing, right? The other stuff they're asking him to do. Right now, I don't know that Keegan is thinking of three-point shooting as the turkey. I don't know what it is because I don't know if Mike Brown has sat there and told Keegan, hey, you're still here to shoot. That's number one. Is it expand? I forgot about expanding the game. He talked about that. What is that? Is that the cranberry sauce? So it's a plate. There's a lot on it. It looks like my plate in a couple weeks. There's a lot on it. And I don't know that Keegan is being given the direction of, number one, your job is still to shoot, Keegan. Your job is still to shoot. That's number one. Anything outside of that is nice, but your job is to shoot. From the 916, what up, Stiles? Do you think Keegan's stroke is off because he built his frame up? I think he should focus on rebounds and putbacks from offensive boards. What do you think? From Eli McFly. Yeah, he is bigger, and maybe he's getting used to that too. But he didn't shoot this poorly last season, but he didn't shoot the way he did his rookie year last season, and he wasn't as bulky. It's still early. He can turn things around, but he's shooting 29% right now. Could that be from too much muscle milk? I think anything is possible. There is a lot. It is a work in progress. Last season, we talked about it being the caterpillar season for Keegan Murray, and this was supposed to be the butterfly season. It still can. It is still early, but from what we've just seen a continuation of, we've seen Keegan get better in other areas, but we're losing the plot. The plot is the three-point shooting. So yeah, it's great to see Keegan on the offensive boards. And then it becomes a conversation, is he able to do all of those things? Right now, he is not. Last season, he was not. And currently, he is not. When does that change? When does that evolution happen? It could start tonight. I hope it starts tonight. But we've been hearing the same thing now for over a year. So that just begs the question, okay, well, when is it okay to then look at what you guys are asking Keegan to do? If we're going to say, okay, it's not on Keegan, then now I'm looking at you, Mike Brown. I'm looking at you, Monty McNair, in the roster construction. When do we have those conversations? Because or are you just expecting it's going to click? And it could click tonight. But please help me. If the three of those guys don't play again and Keegan Murray takes 6 shots, I'm going to lose it. I'm going to lose because it can't happen. It cannot happen. The flow offense, I don't care what the excuse is. You're untouchable. You're supposed to be one of the top young scorers in this league. You got to put them up because there is what's being asked, and then there is Keegan's thought process and just mental makeup, if you will. And something has to click. Now, I understand that most games you won't be without those 3 guys, but it still speaks to the future of the Kings and what is Keegan Murray's actual ceiling. That's the conversation. On the other side, well, Keegan Murray wasn't taking shots, but other guys were. Yeah, we're going to do that thing where we ask the question, could these injuries on the Kings help them in the long run? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 30th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
With the cooler seasons upon us, Advanced Infusion Center remains focused on your health and comfort. Whether you're dealing with a chronic illness or in need of IV therapy, we provide tailored treatments to meet your unique needs. Our caring team is here to make sure your experience is safe safe, comfortable, and stress-free. With convenient locations in Sacramento and Yuba and flexible scheduling, you can easily access the care you deserve. Explore Advanced Infusion Therapy today. Visit advancedinfusion.com for compassionate care right where you need it.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hi, everybody. Jay Leno here. You know, I love doing live stand-up comedy. No politics, no lectures. I'm not giving you my opinion on every issue of the day. Just nothing but jokes. So come by, check it out, and we'll have a lot of fun. Oh, it's clean, too.
Jay Leno live on stage with special guest Arsenio Hall. Saturday, March 29th, on stage at Hard Rock Live, Sacramento. Tickets are on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster.com.
Come on by, check out the show.
The Beach Boys, Endless Summer Gold. This Sunday night at Hard Rock Live, Sacramento. The music, the memories, the Beach Boys. Riding an endless summer wave into 2024. Buy your tickets now at Ticketmaster.com. Don't miss the Beach Boys, Endless Summer Gold, live.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, Folsom Lake Ford. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, like America's best-selling F-Series. Check out a huge selection of Mavericks, F-150s, and Super Duty trucks, or tech-filled SUVs like Explorers and Expeditions. Plus a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. All in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest finance rates. And Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. Hurry to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they are my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. For 35 years and counting, come down and take a test drive today. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., having an uncomfortable Keegan Murray conversation. Patrick Donaldson on the Sack Chat. Last year, Brown asked him to defend better, and he has become real good at that. This year, Brown asked him to rebound better. This year, he has. The problem is his scoring has taken a hit, and he isn't aggressive looking for a shot. That's spot on, Patrick. He gets asked to do things, and he's done them. The problem is he's being asked to do things, and the idea is that other things don't take a hit, and that's what's happening. He's better at rebounding, but his shooting is down. He's better defending, but his shooting is down. So what is it? Obviously, the Kings want it all, right? Of course, that's what they want it all. But we discussed this as well. Is it time to have a conversation where it's, Keegan, we need you to shoot. We need you to be that main focus. I know we've asked you to do a lot, but number one is we need you to shoot. 916-339-1140. Michael wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Michael? You're on with Allen Stiles. What you got for us?
Hey, good afternoon. I just wanted to, I wanted to talk about that Keegan Murray and a little bit about Fox. I just feel like Keegan Murray is a great kid. has a good head on his shoulders. He's doing everything that's asked of him, but I don't think he has a killer instinct. He's somewhere in between a Harrison Barnes and a Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris puts up numbers since Orlando Magic, but I don't know if he's going to have that juice. In the fourth quarter, he brought up good points. Like, he just kind of disappears. Leaves it on DeRozan and Fox. And then, Brown, I don't know, the rotation sometimes. He's a good coach, but I don't know if he has, he can get us over that hump. And then Monty McNair, outside of, Murray landing in his lap, he made a great trade with getting to, Sabonis, and got lucky with Halliburton. But after that, his drafting sketchy. I'm a big draft guy. Carter, we'll see. I heard he's a dog. But, you got guys like Jalen Wells, a 39th overall pick, man. He's from Folsom High, Sacramento born.
Yep.
Like, you have to look very deep. And then I don't know, maybe this is what I wanted to take your question. I had a question, and I'll take this offline, but I wanted to get your insight. Fox is feeling himself, which is good, but there's a bit of, like, I don't want to say a-hole, but, like, he's like, he's feeling himself. He dropped to 60. I love that. And then 49 the next night. But, like, I'm kind of getting nervous. Like, okay, this is a question I had for you. Do you think there's a chance, if we don't make it to the playoffs this year, do you think he'll leave? But I'll take that offline. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Michael. And of course, we're going to get into the injuries possibly helping the Kings conversation, but want to get to Michael's question. I think anything is possible. Why I think the All-NBA is important is because the Kings because it connects to the Supermax, and the Kings would be the only team that can offer De'Aaron Fox that. So I'm on record saying that if De'Aaron Fox does leave, he would not be a number one anywhere else. He would be leaving to be a 1B or a 2 or somebody's Robin. I still feel like that. I don't think De'Aaron will leave. I in part feel like, unless it is injury, like if this was the team for majority of the season, then I would say, okay, yes, De'Aaron could easily look at greener pastures. But you look at getting DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, and Domantas Sabonis back. If they don't make the playoffs, in my opinion, De'Aaron would have to look in the mirror. And I feel like, for as much of a competitor De'Aaron is, it would be hard for him to look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm going to leave even though I didn't take care of business. Because if De'Aaron Fox balls out, and they're healthy, and he plays like this or a version of this with DeMar DeRozan, with Sabonis, with Malik Monk, they should make the playoffs, right? So I think the reason I'm not necessarily worried about De'Aaron Fox leaving, I'm just banking on his competitiveness and the idea that he's going to have to look in the mirror and say, well, I didn't get it done, and now the Damian Lillard conversation, right? Damian Lillard never had anywhere near a team as talented as what De'Aaron Fox has right now, with DeMar DeRozan, Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk. He hasn't had that. So these guys that do the whole I'm going to leave a small market thing, most of the time, the small market hasn't given them enough. If they don't make the playoffs, and it's not now, let's say it is due to injury. Let's say something just completely derails the season. Anything is possible, but then I think it would be more of a conversation of, man, we didn't even get to give this a good go. So I'm not really worried about De'Aaron Fox leaving, but anything can happen. But he gets all NBA, that there's no way he's leaving, because he can get the Supermax with the Kings and nowhere else. Let's get to Doug. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Doug? You're on with Allen Stiles. Happy Monday. What you got?
Sir, congratulations on going solo, but I know you probably have a wonderful partnership that was working well for you. But hey, if you're good as everybody thinks that you are, and I believe it, you'll be just fine as a solo guy.
Thanks for that, Doug. Appreciate it.
First, you're quite welcome. We've talked about this before, and I know I did it last year too. Last year, the point of attack was Harrison Barnes. Why don't we just take that name out and put in Keegan Murray? Because it seems like this is a repeat of last year. Is that we're looking for someone that there's blood in the water, and it's going to be Murray.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard. The thing that I sit and I watch and understand is that when Fox goes for 60, he's not passing the ball a lot because he's getting up shots because he's playing well and he's trying to have his team win.
Mm-hmm.
He goes for 47. That's a similar situation, but you didn't have DeRozan and you didn't have Sabonis in there in that last game. So what I'm going to try to get here as quick as possible is that if you don't get the touches to turn them into shots, you got nothing to complain about. If you're getting touches and you're passing the ball, then you're not getting enough shots. So that's where it's at. And whenever the numbers come out to be of shots per game and all that kind of stuff, then then you've got something. But right now it's going to be like that until those guys go in and Coach Brown addresses what is he doing. He said, well, I've targeted him. It's like football. I target you how many times and how many catches you get and all that, but how often does that happen with the Kings? That's all I have. I love your show, man, and best of luck to you.
Thanks for the call, Doug. Great stuff. Yeah, the 60-point thing, it's a chicken or the egg, right? Is it De'Aaron shooting a lot because other guys weren't in the mix, or guys aren't in the mix because De'Aaron is shooting a lot? When I look at Keegan Murray and the minutes that he's playing per game and how much he's in the fold, right? Specifically these last two games, touching the touches, I understand, but Keegan Murray is averaging 37.6 minutes a game. There's plenty of opportunity. These last two games in particular, right? And I think that, again, becomes a conversation of being an untouchable and being looked at differently, because I look at Keegan Murray and I'm thinking, this isn't a Kevin Huerter conversation or even Harrison Barnes. If you're supposed to be that dude or one of those dudes, one of those young dudes that's on the come up, you make your own touches. I understand he's not a point guard, but you're out there for 37 minutes a game, 37.6 minutes a game. That's plenty of time to get your shots off. He's averaging 11.6 field goal attempts per game. I'm harping on him because of the Jazz game, putting up six shots is just unacceptable. So I don't necessarily see this being a repeat of the Harrison Barnes situation once they get everybody back. Because look, Kevin Huerter, Kevin Huerter has a bad game, and people want to talk about Kevin Huerter. So I don't think there will ever be a more pointed point of attack than Harrison Barnes was the last couple years. It can get spread around a little bit. I think Keegan will come up because of situations like this, and the fact that he is supposed to have this high ceiling and be one of those dudes moving forward. But I think there's plenty of blame to go around based on who has a bad game here, a bad game there. So I think that this weekend it feels like that because Keegan didn't have a great weekend and just didn't put the basketball in the hoop or even shoot the basketball. But I don't think it'll be anything like Harrison Barnes. And again, we appreciate Harrison Barnes and what he did for the Kings, but that was a little bit of a different situation. Also, what they were getting paid, the expectations, Harrison Barnes being a vet. So I think it's a different situation than Keegan. Keegan, it's more of what we're being told. We're being told certain things. Harrison Barnes, we weren't really ever told anything. Mike Brown just said, yeah, he's not going to, we're not taking him out the starting lineup. We like what he does. We like his leadership. And that was it. So there was less, that almost just ticked off people more. The Keegan Murray conversation to me is way more nuanced than Harrison Barnes, because Harrison Barnes that's just a vet who Mike Brown is not moving off of. Keegan, the value, not a ton of value there. Keegan, there are so many other conversations you could have because he is young, because he does have that potential, because he's going to be up for an extension here soon. What direction do you want to go in? So I think the conversation, really, I think it'll be more people will probably just revert back to Kevin Huerter, who was also Kevin Huerter last season, even with Harrison Barnes. So thanks for the call, Doug. Great stuff. Great stuff there. Okay, let's do the thing. Could these injuries help the Kings in the long run? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
When your little one has a cold with a fever, try new Dayquil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever. It's the daytime coughing, aching, sore throat fever just for kids medicine. Dayquil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever offers fast, effective cold and fever relief for kids ages 6 and up with a delicious grape flavor that kids love. New Dayquil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever will help them feel better fast so they can get back to the fun stuff quickly. New Dayquil Kids Cold and Cough Plus Fever. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Did you know that Wendy's has any size soft drinks for just $1? Yeah, any size, anytime. Like $1 Coke, $1 Sprite, or even $1.
What sets Ashton & Price apart from other injury law firms? I'll tell you. From beginning to end, all important legal decisions are made directly between our clients and their experienced local attorney. A gate agent flying the plane, the receptionist performing surgery, not a chance. There's simply no substitute for the unique power of the direct attorney-client relationship offered by Ashton & Price. And there's never a fee until we win, and between you and me, we win a lot.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Facts are facts, and the facts show that for eliminating hip, knee, back, leg, and foot pain, it's the Good Feet personalized arch support system, clinically proven to provide significant pain relief in only 4 weeks. Good Feet arch supports are designed to help put your feet and whole body back in pain-relieved proper alignment. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book your free fitting at Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles. Sacktown Sports taking up to 2 p.m. It's time to do the thing. Now, if you've been listening to the show, you know I love my overused sports terms and ceiling and this is going to make us better. Just it's terms that don't really mean anything. If we're talking about the workspace, that term culture, right? Overused term. Nobody really knows what it means. Yeah, we have a great work culture here at this company. What does that mean? Does that mean you have happy hours and a ping pong table? What is it? What does culture mean? Right? All these overused terms, we love them. As far as the sports terms. So this is, I would call it an overused narrative, but I'm going to do it anyway, because with the thin bench that the Kings do have, I think it is necessary. With the injuries that the Kings are dealing with right now with Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk. Yes, we know that this isn't going to be the team moving forward, right? We want the Kings to get healthy as quickly as possible. But could these injuries help the Kings in the long run? Forcing Mike Brown's hand. You're comfortable. So you've been playing these guys. All these guys are going to fall out of the top 5 where they were the starters, where they were all over it to start the season as far as minutes played. I'm not saying there's any connection there, but it is interesting the more I think about it. A lot of these guys were playing heavy minutes, and now they're banged up. Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk. So now you have to play different guys. And Jordan McLaughlin, it was a rough start to the season for him. Wasn't getting a lot of run. I think he knew he wasn't going to get a lot of run. He was behind Keon Ellis and was just kind of getting spot minutes here or there. Jordan McLaughlin looks good. 22 minutes, 6 points, 2 for 4 from the 3. We know he can shoot it. That's what he did in Minnesota. Orlando Robinson, we need a big man. Orlando Robinson, 12 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds.
Jordan wasn't scared to shoot that clutch 3 either.
Jordan was not scared.
That corner 3 he hit was huge.
To me, that shot put him higher than Keon Ellis in the rotation. I know it's not apples to apples. I had no problem with Jordan McLaughlin getting into the basketball game before Keon Ellis. I had a big problem with Mason Jones getting into the basketball game before Keon Ellis. But Jordan McLaughlin, that's exactly what you need. And I know Keon Ellis is longer and bigger than Jordan McLaughlin, but Jordan McLaughlin, a dog on defense. And if he can shoot that 3 ball the way he's been shooting it, that's something that Mike Brown's going to need, because we know this team has not shot the 3 ball well. Isaac Jones gets in there. He's a guy that can stretch the floor a little bit. He had 6 points, 2 rebounds. So these are guys where come, maybe Jordan McLaughlin, but come April, May, playoff time, are these guys going to be getting heavy minutes? Probably not, and I dare to say I hope not. But to get you there, to squeak out wins that you're going to need, to get to the playoffs, to get to a situation where you're a 4 seed and you're avoiding the play-in, you have to win games like this, and guys like this can help you. I really liked what I saw from Orlando Robinson. Jordan McLaughlin did show me a lot as well. Isaac Jones too. So if Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, Malik Monk, if none of them get injured, I don't know when we see these guys. And we know that the Kings are always looking for size wherever they can get it. So Orlando Robinson and Isaac Jones, come on down. We might see more of them, maybe tonight. So because that Hawks team, it is long. They've been banged up too, but they've at least played more with this kind of hurt group of or the guys that they have left because of injury than the Kings have. So the Hawks are going to look to steal one here and take that trip back to 500. Try to get closer to 500. They're at 6-8. But these are situations where you have to find positivity. And I know we just talked a lot about Keegan Murray and it didn't sound very positive, but this is also an opportunity for Keegan Murray. That's why I sound the way I sound. Because you're setting yourself up for success. This is an opportunity for Keegan to take more shots in the clutch. This is an opportunity for Keegan Murray to say, give me the ball. They openly talk about it. That's the craziest thing. You know what they say? Acknowledgement is the first step. They have acknowledged that Keegan has to shoot the ball better. They have acknowledged that Keegan has to kind of take more initiative and be more aggressive. It's just us waiting for it to happen. So all of these things can happen while these heavy hitters for the Kings are out. Kevin Huerter can get right. Kevin Huerter had a nice game against the Jazz, right? A lot of these guys, this is an opportunity to get right. This is an opportunity to do some things that you don't necessarily have the freedom to do. And I'm going to say Keon Ellis as well. Keon Ellis, and like I just said, I don't know how the minutes are going to be distributed now. I think Keon, well, right now, I don't know how much it'll change because of all the injuries, but Keon Ellis kind of duking it out. I don't think he's duking it out with Mason Jones, but with Jordan McLaughlin coming in and doing what he's done and really solidifying himself in here. I'm pulling it up now as far as the minutes are concerned. So you had Keon Ellis, 10 minutes. Keon Ellis played 10 minutes against the Jazz. I think he only took one shot, and it was a grenade that somebody threw in with about 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Jordan McLaughlin played 22 minutes. All right. So, and here's the thing. I know Keon defends at a high level. And as much as I was kind of upset at the whole doghouse thing, Mason Jones played 8 minutes. He had 4 rebounds and 3 assists in 8 minutes. In 8 minutes. Keon was donuts. Donuts all around. And he was defending. I get that. But again, we're talking about, and no disrespect, because I know he's a dog, but we're talking about Colin Sexton and look, he was diving on the, I get it. But we're talking about Colin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson on a bad Jazz team. And hey, Keon defended really well. I get it. You were down, but you got guys like Mason Jones coming in, playing 8 minutes, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. You got to think about it. And I don't like how it happened, but Keon is going to have to play better. This is an opportunity. Keon, you played 10 minutes. And the game before you were in during crunch time. Do I like that Mike Brown is kind of yo-yoing Keon a bit? I don't like it, but he's a young player and Mike Brown is a little old school in that way. And that's how he's going to treat it. I'm more of the mindset of just give him just talk to him about it and give him consistent run. Is Mason Jones going to get in before Keon tonight because he played a better game? Maybe. Ultimately, do I think the Kings are better with Mason Jones on the floor than Keon Ellis? No, I don't. So Mike Brown, when he makes moves like this, it can mess with people, and people have had questions about the rotations. As soon as Keon Ellis did not check in, and I don't even know if he checked in the whole first quarter. As soon as he didn't check in with no Malik Monk, no DeMar DeRozan, no Sabonis, I mean, it was all over social media. And that's why it was surprising to me, because Jordan McLaughlin and Mason Jones check in when De'Aaron Fox does his typical sub out in the first, and it was all over. Is Keon Ellis in the doghouse? Is Keon Ellis in the doghouse? What's going on? What's going on? He eventually gets in second quarter, and it was a confidence thing. I know you got to power through. You played 10 minutes. 10 minutes. So Mike Brown is going to do things the way he wants to do them, not necessarily how I would do things. The only player that played less than Keon was Mason Jones, who went in before Keon Ellis. Mason Jones with 8 minutes, so 2 minutes less than Keon. A lot to kind of go over as far as the guys that might be able to help. Dougie McBuckets as well. Is he a guy that could maybe figure some things out here? He's got 6 points, 19 minutes against the Jazz. Look, if we understand the injuries, if Dougie McBuckets is not there to save the day, he did hit a couple shots, so that was nice to see, especially at home. This is where these guys are probably going to play better. But Dougie McBuckets, 19 minutes. I don't really, if somebody were to ask me, is Dougie McBuckets better or worse than you thought? I mean, he's right there, what I thought. He's going to hit a couple shots. Maybe we can get a hot game from him before these injuries are all said and done, or just in general, where he gives you 15 off the bench and just gets hot from 3. That's the hope. I mean, I think starting him just to space the floor, haven't seen it yet. Trey Lyles as the center, probably one of his best games. And another opportunity for Trey Lyles to get more run at the center position because of these injuries. Trey Lyles, 35 minutes, 17 points. You love to see it, right? The 3-ball looked good. That's exactly what we're looking for while these injuries are what they are. Kevin Huerter, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Great game from Kevin, right? Kevin Huerter, to me, this is almost where Kevin Huerter is at his best, because there's no level of, hey, Kevin Huerter, the same reason Kevin Huerter hasn't been taken out of the starting lineup, because, he's a guy who needs to get his rhythm. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. It's the same situation for Kevin Huerter on the actual court. He gets his shots up. He feels better. He feels more confidence, and he rocks and rolls from there. So Kevin Huerter, to me, this is where he will continue to shine, because he's just a walking green light, even more so. They're still running that flow offense, but Kevin Huerter is a vet in this game, and he does understand that, hey, I understand. Because Kevin Huerter, there was a shot, and I don't know that I've ever seen Kevin Huerter do this. He boogied on whoever was defending him and took a off the dribble three. Y'all remember that? I had not seen that from Kevin Huerter in a very long time, possibly ever. So Kevin Huerter understands the assignment and understands the situation more so than Keegan Murray does right now. So Kevin Huerter, huge for the Kings to get this version of Kevin Huerter right now. Because again, the league right now, they see a wounded team. If you are the Atlanta Hawks and you are trying to stack W's, we think you are, unless you don't even have the pick. That's what Brad Rowland of Locked On Hawks told us back at the 11 o'clock hour. So you don't even have your pick this season. So you might as well be good. This is a game where they're going to look and say, wait, no DeMar, no Sabonis, no Malik. We got this one we could get. This is one we can get. We got to fly all the way to Sacramento, but this is a gettable game. So if you think the Hawks are just going to come out there, lay down, and say, "Hey, we know you guys want a Monday beam," that is not going to be the case. There's a lot of pride there with the Hawks, especially when you're a team that feels like, because even the last game they played, the Hawks and the Kings, that was a pretty that for the most part it was competitive. So this thing could get spicy tonight. We'll have a full-blown Kings-Hawks preview in the 1 o'clock hour, but this thing could definitely get spicy. But it was spicy over the weekend as De'Aaron Fox proved that he is that dude. We break down everything De'Aaron has done and what that means for his leadership on the Kings. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The Beam Team plays here.
How many times I seen that beam lit up when I was chilling at home? What's the significance of pushing this button? Like I said, when it solves all.
We live and breathe Sacramento Kings basketball.
Live and local with the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys.
This is your home for the Sacramento Kings. Sacktown Sports 1140.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. This time of year is decision time for a lot of people, but it's also when you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, joining MediShare means saving about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people, obviously. But what's more, MediShare members like it a lot. Their satisfaction rate is 98%. Imagine that. And MediShare is a proven thing, too, for over 30 years. It's a Christian community of hundreds of thousands of people now. And here's the thing. If you join before November 30th and you mention the promo code SHARE, they'll waive your application fee. So you save even more right off the bat. I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call and you'll get a price within 2 minutes. And again, the deadline is November 30th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. De'Aaron Fox. Has anybody had a better weekend than De'Aaron Fox? 916-339-1140. Call line, text line, YouTube. Chime in if you think you had a better weekend than De'Aaron Fox, who did go 1-1, but 109 points, only the third player to do that in NBA history. Okay, Wilt Chamberlain, Kobe Bryant, and Swipe of the Fox, the only three to do it. Did you have a better weekend than De'Aaron Fox? Because I don't think a lot of people did. And now the conversation kind of shifts to whether or not De'Aaron Fox is underrated. So this is something that I'm going to try to explain. And if you're not on social media, you might not fully understand. But the high level of this is more Sacramento versus the world. So this is what happened. Rob Perez, you might be familiar with him. To be completely honest with you, somebody asked me, I believe he is a host on Sirius NBA. I believe he got the host deal because of the brand that he has created on social media. And what's crazy is he's really just clips things that happen in basketball games, and for some reason it just took off, right? That's how I know him. I don't really, he's got 1.1 million Twitter followers. He's now a host on Sirius NBA, and now he'll do more. He'll post with his face and post things like that, clips and takes, right? So basically, if anything really big happens in the world of the NBA, Rob Perez, Worldwide Wob, that's his name on Twitter, Rob Perez will talk about it. He'll at least mention it. So De'Aaron Fox goes on his tear, and obviously he scores the 60 on Friday, and then he scores 49 on Saturday. Everybody's blowing up. Rob Perez said nothing about it, and he said the final two, this is the only thing he said about the game. Final 2 minutes of Kings Jazz took 20 minutes and 39 seconds of real time to complete. Basically, it was a slog, right? It was just about the gameplay in general. And a bunch of people in Sacramento started quote tweeting him saying, why aren't you talking about De'Aaron Fox? Why is this the only thing you have to say about the game? So Risay, De'Aaron Fox's lovely wife, joins the conversation, we'll say, and says, I'm confused. Why are Kings fans mad that this guy hasn't tweeted about our game? Who gives a bleep? What are his credentials? LOL. And people are saying, hey, just as far as the outlook of the NBA, this guy, this stuff matters, and this guy has a lot of pulls. So to bring up De'Aaron would get a lot of eyes on the Kings and on Sacramento, and it's just kind of disrespectful that he had nothing to say. So she says that. Somebody says he actually does have some serious cred, no disrespect, and she says he watches games and posts highlights or interesting clips. What are we talking about here? And honestly, I agree with Risay. I don't necessarily get why he popped, but nowadays people just pop, and they become really popular. That's how I understood it. And after that, Rob Perez quote tweets Risay Fox and says, sorry about that, Mrs. Fox. Next time I will make sure and post a little video of De'Aaron Fox saying Worldwide Wob during a clip or something like that. And now it kind of turned into a beef to where De'Aaron was saying it. So for her to say, hey, who is this guy? Then De'Aaron mentioning him, it just was a kind of a stupid beef. And ultimately, to me, that's just how it is. If he doesn't want to talk about it, that's fine. De'Aaron, it's just, when you're in Sacramento, if you're on the Kings, you just got to be twice as good just to be mentioned. And if you're De'Aaron, he was twice as good. So you got to do it again and do it again and do it again. And these guys are just going to pop their little heads up when something goes wrong. The Kings, I'm surprised a lot of people just didn't say, well, they lost against the Timberwolves, so what are we talking about? But I'm sure those takes are out there. So these people, these media members can ignore my thought process, and maybe it's from my parents and just how I was brought up. You have to make them stop ignoring you, right? You don't tell, and this wasn't Risay. Risay wasn't a part of it. She was curious, why do y'all care, right? I mean, there's a level of, let's be look, we've seen what happens, and I know it's a different team, but the Kings, they had a lot of pub that Beam Team season, and it was tough to handle. Last season, coming off the Beam Team season, there was a lot. So let's fly under the radar. You don't want to talk about the Kings? Fine. De'Aaron's going to continue to do his thing. DeMar DeRozan is going to continue to do his thing. And by the way, ultimately, I know a crazy weekend, but the Kings, they're trying to find their footing. No, it's not like they're sitting at 10-2 or 10-1 or something like that. So let's let them keep sleeping. All right, let's let them stay on the melatonin. And when they feel like waking up, the Kings will say, and Kings fans will say, we've been here. We've been waiting. We've been trying to tell y'all, but you didn't want to listen. But the Kings have to make that happen. The Kings have to make that happen. All right, when it comes to De'Aaron, as it pertains to point guards and his scoring, 3rd in points per game. He's 4th in minutes per game. He's 9th in true shooting, which eliminates chucks at the end of shot clocks and half court heaves, things like that. So De'Aaron is in elite company this season. He is a top 5 point guard, and maybe he's always been. He might be a top 3 point guard this season right now. It's still early, but the conversations, we talk about uncomfortable conversations, the conversations that have been had about Ja Morant, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyrese Maxey, all these guys that you skip over before you get to De'Aaron, there's maybe a level of De'Aaron that's maybe a little sick of it. And the season started, and it was a whole lot of DeMar DeRozan, which is fine, but it's not like it was a whole lot of DeMar DeRozan and the Kings went 5-0 to start the season. So there has to be a continued conversation of change and movement and evolution when it comes to this Kings team. Just having DeMar cook from mid-range, that's cool. It's a good thing to have. It's a good escape valve. I look at that like I look at Christian McCaffrey in the backfield for the Niners. You need something. Brock doesn't feel like scrambling. The play gets blown up. Where's Christian McCaffrey? Here you go. 20 yards. First down. 15 yards. First down. 10 yards. First down. You look at DeMar DeRozan. Hey, we're trying to get Kevin Huerter going. We're trying to get Keegan Murray going. De'Aaron is the head of the snake still. We want Sabonis to get going. Everybody's having an off night, and I'm not saying that for DeMar DeRozan to be the last, the last hurrah here, right, or the last option. But I feel like maybe there is a balance between being the first option and the last option, and DeMar DeRozan was skewing more towards the first to start the season. We'll see what this all looks like, because by the time he gets back, this could look different. So there's going to be another transition period, getting him back in the fold. All these things are part of it as the Kings are trying to find their footing and figure out who in the world they are going to be. All right, we continue the conversation. Of course, we're talking Kings all day long. We're also going to get into some Niners here in the 12 o'clock hour. What is going on with Kyle Shanahan as we continue the uncomfortable conversations? Who is most to blame for yesterday's loss? Should Kyle Shanahan's seat begin just a little bit warm? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
This holiday season, spread cheer by donating to a child in need and enjoy $20 off your next Toyota service. Now through December 10th, bring an unwrapped toy to a participating Toyota service center and support the California Highway Patrol's Toy Drive. Chips for kids. Give joy, get joy, and celebrate the season of giving exclusively at participating Toyota service centers. Toyota, let's go places. Toyota and Scion owners only. Toy value must be at least $10. Some restrictions apply. See a participating dealer for details.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
This Saturday, November 23rd, the regional rivalry is renewed as it's the 70th annual Causeway Classic. It's the UC Davis Aggies battling the Sacramento State Hornets on Native American Heritage Day, and a salute to the senior class for Sacramento State. That's this Saturday at 2 at Hornet Stadium. Tickets on sale now at hornetsports.com. Be there for the Causeway Classic, UC Davis and Sacramento State. Stingers up.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
Right now is the perfect time to replace your windows. It's Bell Brothers end-of-year warehouse sale. We're offering our lowest prices of the year on all windows and doors. Plus, instant rebate up to $2,000 when you purchase new windows. And 0 payments, 0 interest financing for 12 months. Call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or go online to thenosurpriseguys.com. These deals will not last long. If you've been putting off getting to replace your windows or installing new doors, now is the time to take action. It's Bell Brothers end-of-the-year warehouse clearance. Call now at 916-444-1234 or go online to thenosurpriseguys.com. In-home estimates are always free. If you're ready to replace your windows or install new doors, right now Bell Brothers has the lowest prices of the year, plus an instant rebate of up to $2,000 when you purchase new windows or more, and 0 payments, 0 interest financing. Get all the details at thenosurpriseguys.com. Minimum purchase required. Financing based on approved credit. Cannot combine offers.
Oh, hey, just a real live talking buck here. Hitting the road to tell people about the Big O Save a Buck sales event. Ha they get it. Honk if you love saving bucks. Because right now you can buy 3, get 1 free on 4 select in-stock Cooper, Nexen, Nitto, National, or Sumitomo brand tires with installation purchase. Let's go. Yeah, let's go to the Save a Buck sales event now at Big O Tires. Woo! The team you trust. Offer valid now through December 8th. Installation required. Disposal fees and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for pricing. Eligibility may vary. Not valid with other offers.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Just had a little bit of lunch here. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And everybody I went downstairs where the account executives and sales people are. Shout out to them. Wink, wink. And they were a little confused because number one, I'm doing the show, so I had to run down there. And somebody asked me, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm getting hot sauce for my bagel. And they were confused because, I didn't say whether it was a savory bagel or anything like that. I just said, hey, I'm having a bagel. I need my hot sauce. And then when I told them, hey, it's a white fish bagel, onions and capers. Like I said, I got my Listerine, so don't worry. They said, okay, that makes more sense. Because it's just a normal. I do like a sweet bagel, but the cream cheese and hot sauce, you can go back and forth on those things. So, just had to. Aaron is saying gross. I don't know what part of that. Look, don't knock it till you try it. White fish to me, it's a softer fish. It's not as strong as tuna. All right. The studio does not smell. I can guarantee you that. Nate is not allowed in here, but yes, it does not smell. Well, I'll tell you who stunk, and that was the Niners last night, yesterday. They blew it to the Seahawks, who aren't very good, and they were trending down the Seahawks. Not their record. To me, they were worse than their record. Started out hot, kind of cooled off, and the Niners, they blew it once again. It's 2nd and 11. What was it? 2 minutes, a little more than 2 minutes left in the game. 2nd and 11. You could have ran the football there, but you decide to throw it. It was a kind of a slant looking it wasn't a slant, but Debo coming across the middle. Brock had to get it over the defender. He airmails Debo. They have the wide receivers have the worst separation in the league, which honestly, I know I sang Ricky Pearsall's praises not too long ago. That's concerning to me. I mean, Debo is Debo. We know he doesn't really cook when it comes to route running. But Ricky Pearsall, that's kind of supposed to be his thing. I don't know if he can if he's still getting back. So being able to play and being 100% are two different things. Is this the healthiest version of Ricky Pearsall? I have no clue. He dealt with injuries before he got shot during preseason and all of that. So I don't know what's going on with the wide receivers. Christian McCaffrey, he's still trying to get back. You're in a position to win. The defense didn't look bad. Seattle, their offense didn't even look good, and you just can't get it done. And Kyle Shanahan is taking a lot of flack when you look at the blame pie from yesterday's game. I think a lot of it has to go to Kyle Shanahan. I mean, I'm sorry. Brock Purdy, he threw for 159 yards, and the Seahawks are 25th in defense based on yards allowed. Kyle Shanahan, this is probably his worst coaching season, or one of his career. It's been a complete disaster. And I know that there have been injuries. I know that there have been issues that it's hard to overcome. You still don't have Dre Greenlaw. Talanoa Hufanga played for about half a quarter, and then he left again with injury. You lost Brandon Ayuk. You just got Christian McCaffrey back. He doesn't seem to be 100%, or whatever you want to call that. It doesn't seem like they're running him like he's 100%. But you also don't want to give the ball to Jordan Mason, who cooked for you in the early goings. It's just bizarre decisions. The special teams is always a mess. All right. Jake Moody, good yesterday. You had that whole situation with the choke fight, whatever you want to call it, on the sidelines, and you're Kyle Shanahan, and oh yeah, we think Jake Moody, he's in a better spot now, and nothing is ever wrong, and mistakes have never been made, and everything is where we're doing this, why we're supposed to do it. You take a wide receiver there, of course that was the right decision. You take an offensive guard there, of course that was the right decision. You make a trade or you don't make a trade. Either way, it's the right decision because you're the 49ers and they're just getting hit with reality. And the reality is that they are underperforming in, you could argue, all phases of the game. Besides maybe the defense hasn't been bad. But they've been bad on those final possessions where they lose to the Cardinals, they lose to the Rams, and now they lose to the Seahawks. And Geno had been terrible. I don't know if Geno had beat Brock. I don't think Geno had ever beat Brock Purdy, and Brock Purdy had never lost to the Seahawks. So that is where, and I literally said this a couple weeks ago when we talked about the Niners. As long as there won't be any, and again, the theme of today's show, uncomfortable conversations, that and De'Aaron Fox is that dude. As long as the Niners win the games they typically win, that will keep all of the drama and conversations about Kyle Shanahan at bay. So you beat the Seahawks because you always beat the Seahawks. You beat the Buccaneers because you always tend to beat the Buccaneers. But yesterday we had a break in that process. The Niners lost to the Seahawks, something they hadn't done before. So that's one of the calling cards that they normally reach back to. Did not have it. All right? They did not have it yesterday. It was a mess. It was a mess. So the conversation of, oh, Kyle Shanahan this, and we can't move off Kyle. Nobody is saying to fire Kyle Shanahan, but I'll be darned if you can't have a conversation. He is not above having a conversation about him needing to be better. Brock Purdy, 159 yards against the 25th ranked defense as far as yards allowed in the Seahawks. Christian McCaffrey, 79 yards. Still didn't get into the end zone. Juwan Jennings, he's a stud. Juwan Jennings, 91 yards, 1 touchdown. Jackson Smith and Jigba, who had been up and down in this offense, 110 yards. Really? And I know they're missing some pieces in the secondary. But 110 yards, really? Kenneth Walker only ran for 54 yards. Geno Smith, 221 yards, threw a pick. It's just unacceptable. You're last in the NFC West. Last. And the Rams, 4-1 their last 5 games. The Cardinals, we'll see what they do in December, January. Kyler Murray doesn't normally like to play in those months. But the Cardinals look good. And now you give life back to the Seahawks. You own no tiebreakers. You lost to all 3 of them. That's unacceptable. That's bad. And if you look at this roster, that's how talented they were. You look at this roster, even with George Kittle out and with Brandon Ayuk out, you did lose Nick Bosa. That's fair. You lost Nick Bosa, a little more than halfway into the game. We'll see what happens there. But you have to overcome these things. This is how I started the show. This is where you make your money, Kyle Shanahan. You don't make your money in September when the team is fully loaded and you're playing a bad Seahawks team or whoever it is, a team that has no business being on the field with you. That Jets win, you know, that Chris Tucker meme where he's burning the $100 bill, talking about fraudulent. That first win of the season, the Niners-Jets, kind of not fraudulent because they won the game, but we all left that game thinking, okay, the Niners are legit. We already knew they were legit, but they go out, they beat the Jets, right? Who they have Aaron Rodgers. They didn't have Devontae Adams, but at the time we thought they were going to be a formidable opponent in the AFC. The Jets stink. The Jets are not good. So now you start to look at the Niners wins, and you beat the Jets, you beat the Patriots, who are terrible. You beat the Seahawks the first time because you typically own them. You beat the Cowboys because they're terrible, and you beat the Bucs with no Chris Godwin. You barely beat the Bucs with no Chris Godwin and no Mike Evans. But because everyone's afraid of the return of Jim Tom Sula, Kyle Shanahan is above criticism and above the conversation of maybe we move in a different direction. That is playing scared. And scared money don't make no money. And I'm not saying to move off of Kyle Shanahan. What I'm saying is you got to stop with this. You not even being able to have the conversation, or the conversation being asinine or ridiculous, because it's not. It's just simply not. And to me, you are selling that roster short when you do that, because what happens too much is when you sit there and everything that has happened is supposed to happen the way you wanted. If you were the 49ers, everything is going according to plan, and this is everything we had planned to do. When things go left, well, now what do you say? Right? And I'm to the point where you have 2 options that we can discuss when it comes to Kyle Shanahan. You either start to have the conversation of the hot seat, or do you either sit there and say, I'm giving him a pass because of the injuries, but to me, he is not that elite level coach that you say he is if he can't overcome those injuries. So it's one of the two. You either have the conversation about the hot seat or the beginning of the hot seat, or he's just not as elite. We're giving him a pass, but he's also not as elite as we thought. It's one of those two. Let's discuss Kyle Shanahan. Open up the phone lines to you Niner fans and just football fans out there, 916-339-1140. Also, Brock Purdy. Is that a $60 million man? It's not the reason they lost, but is that a $60 million man? Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Join Sacramento State football this Saturday at 2 for the Causeway Classic versus UC Davis. Get your tickets at HornetSports.com.
Black Friday is on its way at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet, and there's no better place to shop for all your power tools. Low price Makita Bear tools starting at $89. Makita batteries starting at just $49, and many more of the year's hottest deals. November 25th through December 2nd. That's right, one whole week of crazy deals on power tools. So don't forget, our Black Friday sale will be November 25th through December 2nd. Check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road or online at fastenersinc.net.
Facts are facts, and the facts show that for eliminating hip, knee, back, leg, and foot pain, it's the Good Feet personalized arch support system, clinically proven to provide significant pain relief in only 4 weeks. Good Feet arch supports are designed to help put your feet and whole body back in pain-relieved proper alignment. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book your free fitting at Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Time to gear up. It's the Black Friday and Gold Saturday open house event at Roseville Power Sports, located at 360 North Sunrise Avenue. We're your home for the best deals on Can-Am side-by-sides, ATVs, and Ski-Doo snowmobiles. Now's the time to save thousands on a brand new Can-Am or Ski-Doo. And check out the all-new Can-Am Maverick R with an incredible 240 horsepower. A Maverick R is built to conquer any terrain, bringing unmatched power and excitement to your off-road adventures. Plus, save 30 to 50% on accessories, helmets, jackets, gear, everything you need to ride in style and safety. This Black Friday and Saturday only. And it's not just about the savings. It's an open house event you won't want to miss. Join us for food, prizes, and more this Black Friday. So head to Roseville Power Sports this Black Friday and Gold Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And let's kick off the holiday season with incredible deals and tons of fun. Some restrictions apply. See store for details. Offers valid on 2024 and prior product while supplies last. Happy holidays from Roseville Power Sports. Tom's Watch Bar, your ultimate sports watching destination for all Kings games, hosted live by Sacktown Sports. With 360-degree viewing, surround sound, premium food and drink, and game day vibes that match being at the game, Tom's Watch Bar is the ultimate game day experience for all Sacramento Kings fans.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
From the 916, Seattle had given up 412 yards a game from week 4 through last week's game. Hashtag conservative Kyle. Yeah, well, where's the offensive genius? Where's that Kyle Shanahan? 159 yards from one Brock Purdy. Got an elite quarterback. You have Juwan Jennings, who might be a number one receiver. Not might be. Juwan Jennings could be a number one receiver somewhere else. He's the number one receiver on the Niners. And he did that with no Kittle and with no Brandon Ayuk. So everyone focused on Juwan Jennings. So you have Juwan Jennings, you have Christian McCaffrey, who he's out there, so I'm just going to assume he's healthy. I have no choice. You have Juwan Jennings, you have Deebo Samuel, who I think he's supposed to be an elite receiver. Yes, you're missing George Kittle, which is huge, and he's been really good this season. But you have those guys. You don't even get close to 200 yards throwing the football. You have Ricky Pearsall, who has looked good. I don't even know if he got a target. So what is happening? And you're Kyle Shanahan. You've only beat what is the Niners' best win? I named off the wins prior to the break. Who's the Niners' best win? Is it the Seahawks? Or is it the Seahawks or the Bucks? The Bucks with no Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans? Or the Seahawks who are at 500? The Niners have not even beaten an elite team this season. It dang sure ain't the Jets. So now your backs are against the wall. We have to do the thing where it's, we were talking about overused sports terms. Oh, we've been playing playoff football since November. We've been playing playoff basketball since January. So that's what it's going to be now. Because now you got to go to Green Bay and take on the Packers. And the Packers, who they're going to be smelling blood in the water. The Packers are 5-2. Or excuse me. The Packers, they do their thing and get a W yesterday against the Bears, 20-19. The Packers are 7-3. So now you got to go to Lambeau. And obviously, you got to wonder about Nick Bosa now on top of George Kittle. Maybe you get George Kittle back. Questions about Nick Bosa. I understand all that. But I would say going into this season, a lot of people would put Kyle Shanahan, and I understand these quarterbacks aren't the same, but a lot of people want to call Brock elite. I had Brock in my top 7. I had him at number 7 going into the season. So Kyle Shanahan, those level of elite coaches, Andy Reid, there's only one guy who can say, yeah, man, it's been a tough, a lot of teams can, but to the level of the Niners, and I know it hasn't all been at one time, but Andy Reid is saying, hold my beverage there, Kyle Shanahan. We never even got to see Hollywood Brown. Isaiah Pacheco goes down. Rashee Rice goes down. Just more and more names each and every week, and they just win. They just win. Didn't win yesterday, but they just win. So it can't be Kyle Shanahan is a lead and Kyle Shanahan is this or that, because this changes things now. This was supposed to be all in season because you got to pay Brock, whether it's $60 million or not. It won't be what he's getting paid now. So this was supposed to be all in season. This was supposed to be, hey, we got super close. We almost had it. If we had known the overtime rules, maybe we get the W, but we're going back. We got another opportunity. Debo, we're loaded up, and you lose Brandon Ayuk, get all that. But you drafted Ricky Pearsall in the first round. That was your choice. You didn't have to, but you did. So you have Debo. You have the emergence of Jordan Mason and the emergence of Juwan Jennings. So now the question is whether or not Kyle Shanahan should get a pass. And if you're giving him a pass, that's fine. But I'm not same way we just had that conversation about Keegan Murray. You want to say Keegan, hey, he's being asked to do too much, fine. But then I don't think Keegan should be untouchable. And maybe, this whole idea of him eventually being elite, maybe we should pause for now and just see what we see. Maybe he's being asked to do too much. Same thing with Kyle Shanahan. Okay, you want to give him a pass for missing some dudes, that's fine. But let's not have the conversation about Andy Reid anymore. Let's not do that. I don't even know if you should have this conversation about Mike Tomlin. Well, Mike Tomlin, nobody was paying attention to the Steelers going into the season. Mike Tomlin's rosters haven't been as, post-Ben, haven't been as good as the Niners. But Mike Tomlin finds a way. So, Kyle, very good coach. I would say good to very good. Elite. These last couple of years, he's been elite. He's not elite right now. And I don't know what it is. He's, to be completely honest with you, Kyle Shanahan is too busy worried about beefing with reporters that write stuff that he doesn't like. He needs to focus on the dang game. He's there getting into tiffs and arguments with Grant Cohn during pressers because you don't like how Grant Cohn talks or how he talks about the team, and you're out there blowing more leads. You're focused on the wrong thing. That's what it looks like to me. You're focused on the wrong thing. You're letting this guy get in your head because of his articles and everybody on social media. Oh, Kyle dunked on him. Nice. Well, the Seahawks dunked on you at home in a game you needed. And looking at your schedule, one of the easier games you have left. One of the easier games you have left. But at least Kyle dunked on Grant Cohn in a presser. That's cool. You get the Packers next. Then you got the Bills, both on the road, by the way. You get a break against the Bears. You get the red-hot Rams. That's December 12th. You get the Dolphins, who are still fighting for their life in Miami. I like the Niners there. You host the Lions. Maybe at that point, the Lions are in a position where they don't really need to show you that, hey, we could get hot here. The Niners could get hot. I'm not going to empty the clip against the Niners December 30th because we got bigger fish to fry. So what version of the Lions do you even see at that point? We don't know. It depends on where we're at in the season. 49ers at Cardinals. That's January 5th. We'll see where the Cardinals are at. I knew this call would come eventually. Just like saying Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice 3 times. If you say Kyle Shanahan's name enough, TC will appear. What's up, TC? I know you're going to say I told you so. I know you are.
I've been saying that, Allen. You know what? And I'm not even going to get on the airwaves and keep saying I told you so, because everybody is starting to realize what I've been saying, bro, for the last couple of years about this guy, Kyle. Kyle is not it, bro. I've been talking about that, and I'm glad that everybody is starting to wake up and see that. And he's not dunking on Grant Cohn. I love Grant Cohn because Grant Cohn is the only dude that's keeping it real about this team. Like everybody else want to pity pad and sugarcoat everything, bro. He's the one that's keeping it 100 about Kyle, bro, and his mistakes and letting everybody know that that dude's not it. And if you can't see that as a Niner fan, hold on, let me back up. Everybody's going to fan how they going to fan with this team. Mm-hmm. But you got to be smart, bro, to see that Kyle is not it, bro, and he's not changing. He's not doing anything, bro. We have to move on from that guy and regroup, period, plain blank. How you put it and how you explain how we got to move on and all that, you can put it how you want to put it, bro. But keeping this dude moving forward after this season, bro, in my opinion, is out. I'm out on that dude, bro. As far as Fox, I love what Fox did, bro. This is what we want to see from De'Aaron Fox. We've been waiting to see that 50 burger, bro. Now he's going to get that money, and he's going to be an all-star, hands down. That's what he needed. He needed that 50 burger, bro. 60 burger, excuse me, and then turned around with another 49. He needed that, bro, as a player. I love it.
Thanks for the call, TC. As always, this is an interesting one from the 530. Well, and to what TC said about Kyle Shanahan, nobody's saying Kyle Shanahan needs to be fired. I'm saying, and well, I think that's what TC is saying. I'm saying it's not ridiculous to have the conversation, right? Personally, what I would do, I would say, Kyle, I'll give you a pass, right? I will give you a pass. You lost Brandon Ayuk. You lost Christian McCaffrey. You know, Nick Bosa now has been banged up. Trent Williams is banged up. George Kittle missed games. It's some of it is just the NFL, and some of it is kind of a rough go for the Niners in particular. But I would say next season, there's a lot riding on next season, a lot, because again, you got to look at the financials and Parag and everything he's going to have to manipulate, because you're going to have to pay Brock. And he might say, hey, I didn't play too poorly. If Brock might not get 60, he can get 60. Even if he gets 55, that still changes things. From the 530, why are you so hating on Shanahan? It was the defense at the end of the day and penalties. You suck. That's from the 530. Thank you, 530. Yeah, defense and the penalties. I wonder who's in charge of all that. Can you help me, 530? Who is in charge of the defense and the penalties and making sure your team is in? Oh, right, that's the head coach. Thanks for playing. Try again. From another 530, if Shanahan is let go, who do you like as a coach, Allen? Keep it 100. I mean, I think the number one option, and he's not going to be let go, right? I can't say that enough. I don't think he's going to be let go, because I do think that there were enough injuries that he will get a pass. I think there will be a lot riding on next season. I mean, everybody's going to talk about Ben Johnson from the Lions. I think that's the kind of the easiest answer, and that's probably what the route I would go. And if you're Ben Johnson, I mean, so many of these guys, that's the thing, right? Very similar to a quarterback that gets drafted. Most of the time they get drafted to bad teams. Trey Lance, and maybe this was an indictment on Trey Lance, he was in a situation where the Niners stunk for a season because of injuries. So then he got drafted to a pretty good team. Now they drafted a project, so it didn't work out very well. That marriage didn't make a lot of sense. They needed a quarterback with more experience, and Brock Purdy has more experience, and it has worked out well. So very similar to that. If you're Ben Johnson, I mean, I don't know any head coach that wouldn't, if they did move off of Kyle Shanahan, I don't know any head coach that wouldn't be salivating at the opportunity to coach this roster. I mean, it's a built-in nine wins at worst. Kyle Shanahan, they're still going to get to 9 wins. I think they're 5-5 right now. I'm pretty sure they're still going to get to 9 wins. And look at the schedule. Okay, maybe they lose to the Packers and the Bills. 9 wins then, so you still got 5 at that point. I think they split. I think they either beat the Packers or the Bills. I do think that they would split one of those games. That puts them at 6. They beat the Bears 7. I think you beat the Rams. I think that's a tough one. But you beat the Rams, that's 8. And then the Dolphins, and I think that they would beat the Cardinals. It is going to be tough, though. Or excuse me, I had said 9. So, yeah, it is going to be tough looking at the schedule now. But you got to split Packers-Bills now. You cannot lose both of those games. Obviously, the hope is that you win both of those games, but you cannot lose both of those games anymore because you needed the Seahawks game to be able to kind of power through there, and you didn't get it done. And you can point fingers. My finger is pointing at Kyle Shanahan, right? He is the one he's in control of everything. You're an offensive genius. Somebody on the text line said it. Seattle, they had been, you see that meme where the security guard barely pats down the people as they're walking in. That was Seattle's defense from week 4 up until now. And yesterday, Brock Purdy, 159 yards. Christian McCaffrey, 79 yards on the ground. Kyle Shanahan, the offensive genius. You still had Brock, elite QB, keep telling us. Christian McCaffrey, elite running back. Debo, elite number 1 wide receiver. Juwan Jennings, breakout year. Ricky Pearsall, first-round draft pick. You can't get 160 yards throwing the football? Really? So blame is blame, but I'm looking at the head coach because he's the guy who kind of stirs the drink there. And he wants you to know that. That's all fine and good. Well, everybody's dancing and enjoying themselves during the W's. When the L's come, somebody's going to have to pay for it. And it's going to start to be Kyle Shanahan. They can go on a run. They can get hot, but it's going to have to happen right about now. On the other side, top stories at the top of the hour. Tyson and Jake Paul. Royale was shipped off, and NBA on TNT makes a return in a different way. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sactown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Shots, rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sactown Sports and SactownSports.com.
Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month with a few health questions and no medical exam. Get your free quote right now at checkethos.com. That's checkethos.com. Not available in all states. Rates do vary.
The holidays are here at the Home Depot, so let's get to decorating. Find your perfect tree in our huge assortment of shapes, sizes, and styles. Like the easy-to-assemble Jackson Noble fir, with pre-lit branches perfect for styling with all your favorite ornaments. Or the Flock Starry Light Fraser fir, with over 1,900 pre-lit memory wire branches that keep their shape so it's ready right out of the box. Ooh. Find the perfect tree now at the Home Depot.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
The holidays can be tough for some, especially if things from your past are still following you around to this day. Now, don't be afraid of your past this upcoming holiday season, as an expungement can help. And that's where the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez comes in, as he's local and has a great track record. Now, that expungement can help you get a job, get your life back in order, and you'll also get your constitutional rights back. He's offering discounts on expungements now through Christmas. Call 916-304-9187. That's 916-304-9187.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento, from the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Wonderful, my magic. Gorillas in the mist.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Last hour of the show, Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports. From the 916, 49ers are not firing a winning head coach. It didn't end well last time they did that with Harbaugh. Obviously, things got a little squirrely with Jim Harbaugh towards the end of that tenure, but
I don't think he was fired. I think he just walked away.
Yeah. I hear you, 916, though. Nor does firing the head coach fix your special teams. I don't know if they're saying special teams defense or special teams, defense and injuries. Look, like I said, as far as the injuries are concerned, I would not be, I am not firing Kyle Shanahan. But that loss yesterday makes the conversation no longer ridiculous. It is hey, you dealt with a lot this season. Going into next season, we have expectations. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. And he knows that. But this idea of, oh, no, he's good. He's just grandfathered in there forever. Things ain't as sweet as you think. Things can change quickly. And that extension, we know that really doesn't mean anything when it comes to the NFL because they print money. All right, top stories at the top of the hour. Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. Jake Paul defeats Mike Tyson through decision. The whole thing was a ridiculous spectacle, from Mike Tyson's butt cheeks being televised. That's if the stream was actually working for you. A lot of people, including myself, had issues with the stream. Mike Tyson tried to call out Logan Paul, Jake Paul's brother, at the end. Logan Paul said, "Mike, I'll bleep and kill you." I really don't. It was really confusing feelings, I'd say. People trying to sell it as, wow, we got to see Mike Tyson in the ring one last time. Some people thinking that Mike avoided beating up Jake Paul so he would get paid. It just didn't look like he had a lot in the tank there. I mean, why would he? He's in his 60s, so it was just a bizarre night. I told y'all about the Netflix streaming issues. They tried to make a joke out of it. Here's the official tweet from Netflix. Here's the official post. 60 million households around the world tuned in live to watch Paul versus Tyson. The boxing mega event dominated social media, shattered records, and even had our buffering systems on the ropes. Yeah, I mean, we all pay for, the Netflix thing that kind of destroyed one login and 18 people have it. Everyone is somewhat paying for Netflix now. So because of that, fix your stuff. Get it together, Netflix, because it was a mess. And I know a lot of people are saying they didn't have issues. What my guess, and this was just random, there are a lot of people that weren't in the U.S. saying that they didn't have issues. So my thought process is, if you were in an area where a lot of people were watching it, you had buffering issues. That's how I took it. So who knows, but they got to figure it out. This thing gets even more bizarre. I guess this is if Jake Paul wanted to fight an NBA player. And again, if you are putting money on this, call the number. This is from Bovada. Odds for the next current or former NBA player to fight Jake Paul. You have Ron Artest at plus 500, Dwight Howard at plus 750, Ben Wallace at plus 850. Matt Barnes at plus 950. Iman Shumpert at plus 1100. Mo Harkless at plus 1100. Rajon Rondo at plus 1100. John Wall at plus 1200. I mean, this is insane. What is this? If you're putting on Joel Embiid plus 2,500 to box Jake Paul, just flush your money down the toilet. Or it's the holiday season, donate it. Because this is insane. Oh, got Leandro Barbosa going to take a break from coaching at plus 2,500. I don't know where Bovada comes up with this stuff. I think they just create this stuff because they know there are people out there dumb enough to just put money on it. These aren't even good lines. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculous stuff there. That also got the conversation going about more fights, and if you are looking forward to more of these celebrity terrible fights, if you will, you had Shaq mentioning that he would like to get in the ring, and Dwight Howard said, let's make it happen. Shaq responds and said, I don't fight guys that only now you don't even have enough rings, because Dwight Howard does have a ring with the Lakers, but Dwight didn't meet Shaq's requirements, and Shaq decided to tag Rob Gronkowski. So that is not official, but it looks like Shaq is trying to fight Rob Gronkowski. I would have my money on Gronk. I think Gronk would knock Shaq out. And this is, look, I'm not a huge boxing person. I'll watch the big fights. I'm really curious for boxing people out there. Is this disrespectful to the sports world, or is it just something separate, right? Are you looking at boxing the way I look at Chipotle versus Mexican food? Okay, Chipotle, a lot of people say, Alan, why are you eating Chipotle? You live in California, Northern California, some of the best Mexican food outside of Mexico. Why are you eating Chipotle? Well, because sometimes I have a taste for Chipotle. If I have a taste for real deal Mexican food, I won't go to Chipotle. I will go to the real deal taqueria, whatever it is. Same with sometimes you have a taste for McDonald's versus a legit grilled burger. All right. Is that how we're looking at this boxing thing? Hey, I don't find it disrespectful to boxing because they're in a different realm of their own. This is entertainment. This is fun to watch for me. Not that I thought the fight was terribly fun when you could actually get it, but you have actual boxing on the side where you have real deal dudes, and those worlds haven't collided yet. And we'll see if Jake Paul wants those worlds to collide. So there you have it. There, it seems as there is a little bit more drama with Shaq, but first I'll start with the good news. The good news is that if you are a fan of the guys, Ernie, Shaq, Charles Barkley, and the crew, Kenny Smith, ESPN and TNT officially announced Inside the NBA deal, which will start the 2025-2026 season. The studio team of those four gentlemen will be a part of opening week, Christmas Day, ABC after January 1st playoffs, including the NBA Finals. So if you were worried about that show going away, look, I've been back and forth on this. We'll see what it looks like. Obviously, they're not going to be around as often, but they have been a huge part of NBA culture and, one of the top shows out there. And it's just a staple in the NBA. So if you were worried about that show going away, don't have to worry about it anymore, but you might have to worry about Shaq. And Shaq all over this news, by the way. Shaq is frustrated about not being under contract as Inside the NBA joins ESPN next season. That is per Jimmy Traina, writer for SI Now. While sources say Shaq wants to remain on the show, he's frustrated that there has been congratulations and press releases hyping that Inside the NBA is remaining the same while he is currently not under contract to be with the company next season. So maybe Shaq is using this as a bargaining chip to say, hey, if you guys are promoting this thing, this actually should help Shaq, because if they weren't promoting any, now they're on the hook. Now everybody is expecting Shaq. So Shaq should be able to call his shot a little bit more and say, hey, y'all are out there promoting me. I'm going to call your bluff on not wanting to roll out Inside the NBA on a new channel with less capacity, with a different lineup. I don't think that you want to do that. So here's my price, and Shaq can kind of put it out there and see what they want to do. So interesting stuff there. Obviously, a lot of that show is the back and forth between Shaq and Chuck. I'm not going to say who on the show could be replaced, but it does feel like Shaq wouldn't be at the top of that list of replaceable. Honestly, all four of them are pretty irreplaceable, but I don't think that show is the same without the Shaq and Charles Barkley back and forth. So we will keep an eye on that. And last but not least, in a video, this thing escalated so quickly from yesterday, and I was on with Kyle when the whole thing came out with Roy Al. Roy Al has been shipped off to Cincinnati. I got to give kudos to the Kings just for recognizing his situation and kind of turning it into a funny thing. T'Aaron said, "What the bleep is that?" And it really got some bad PR, if you will. Nobody was feeling Roy Al. So the Kings, instead of powering through, they found a way to pivot. They made a joke out of it. They made a video that also made it to social media. And Roy Al, man, gone too soon. Gone too soon. Never got a shot, but that just shows how much people ride for Slamson, and I don't know how many other teams do special edition mascots, but yeah, it seemed like it would have been an interesting dynamic. I was excited to see how it all ended up, but will not get that opportunity as Royale is no more. That's all we got for top stories at the top of the hour. We have Kings Hawks preview coming up. Can the Kings continue to roll on without some of their biggest pieces? Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
Live and local.
With everything 49ers.
Intercepted by Fred Warner. Dives for the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco. Ball. George went out to club the ball. Touchdown!
The 49ers play on Sactown Sports 1140.
Facts are facts, and the facts show that for eliminating hip, knee, back, leg, and foot pain, it's the Good Feet personalized arch support system, clinically proven to provide significant pain relief in only 4 weeks. Good Feet arch supports are designed to help put your feet and whole body back in pain-relieved proper alignment. Good Feet arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Book your free fitting at Good Feet in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Toyota's Black Friday sales event ends soon. Take advantage of the biggest savings of the year and gear up for adventure in a legendary Toyota truck.
Ready, set, let's go.
Get $2,000 cash back on Tundra and Tundra Hybrid, or lease a Tacoma 4x4 for as low as $269 a month.
Ready, set, let's go.
The clock is ticking on Toyota's Black Friday sales event. Don't miss out. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium rated credit ends 12/2/24.
Sactown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Drive Guys gotcha. After this, getting you ready for Hawks Kings. And really, the main thing here that everybody is curious about, DeMar DeRozan out for Monday's game against the Hawks, and Domantas Sabonis is doubtful for tonight's game against the Hawks. Malik Monk out as well. So it looks like they're running the same lineup. I don't know if it's going to be the same starting lineup, but yes, the Hawks are coming to town. The Hawks, DeAndre Hunter day-to-day. Hunter was out yesterday for their game against the Blazers. And yeah, as Brad Rowland locked on, who was great. That was during the 11 o'clock hour. At 11 o'clock, if you want to rewind or on the Sactown Sports app, check out what Brad Rowland had to say about the Hawks and whether or not there are going to be any moves made. And you have two guys. He said essentially they got too many dudes. They got too many centers, right? So There's Clint Capella. He said 2 guys on expiring deals that might be interesting. I got to look up how much they're making, but Clint Capella and Larry Nance, I think both of those guys would be great pickups for the Kings. If I had to pick one, just because of shooting the basketball, he's shooting 63% on 2.4 attempts per game. Larry Nance Jr. is. I'm in, and I think you could probably get him. I don't know how crazy the price tag would be. Again, got to look at the kind of weird, the whole idea of moving DeJounte Murray off, and you get Larry Nance, and then you move Larry Nance. But I think that just kind of speaks to how much DeJounte Murray and Trae Young just didn't work. So, yeah, all of that is going to come up throughout the duration of the season. By the way, 14 games into the season, and there are obviously 82 games in a season. That is 17%. So when you look at the Kings record, when you look at what you expected from the Kings, what you want them to become, we can look at this. To me, the percentage stings a little bit more. And it's funny because it's 17% or 14 games. 17% tells me, yeah, this thing is going to continue to fly on by. So 14 games have been played so far out of the 82. So, this thing, man, and game number 2, you're just trying to, there's a hole in the boat a little bit. And you would say that Malik Monk, Sabonis, and DeMar DeRozan, they're eventually going to patch the boat. But right now, the boat is leaking water, and you need guys like Jordan McLaughlin and Dougie McBuckets to use your hands, find a cup somewhere, and just get the water out of the boat so you don't sink. That's what the Kings are attempting to do right now, and that is the situation. The Hawks are 6-8, and they are coming off a close loss to the Portland Trailblazers last night. Trae Young, again, it was a decent game. The last time the Kings and the Hawks met, Kings ultimately got it done. And Trae Young had a pretty good game. I know he had a lot of assists. He basically just does whatever he wants right now. And some of their younger guys have had to step up because of the injuries. The Kings last game against the Hawks, they won 123-115. They were 3-2 at the time. The Hawks were 2-4. DeMar DeRozan had 24 points. Keegan Murray had 14, just like he did a couple nights ago, 10 rebounds. Domantas Sabonis had 15 points and 14 boards. So you're missing 27 points from DeMar DeRozan, 15 points from Domantas Sabonis. Malik Monk did have a quiet night. He had 9 that night, 6 assists, though, and 4 rebounds. Keon Ellis, last time played the Hawks, had 12 points. He played 19 minutes. Trey Lyles had 5 points. Kevin Huerter had 10 points. De'Aaron Fox had 31 points, which seems so minuscule compared to what De'Aaron Fox has been doing lately. There are some guys, Dyson Daniels, he's going to D you up for sure. But we know whoever Trae Young is checking, I'm assuming that's going to be Kevin Huerter. You got to go at him. They're going to switch. They're going to try to hide Trae Young. This isn't the first time somebody has had this conversation. But whoever Trae Young is guarding, you got to go at that man and see what you can do. Jalen Johnson for the Hawks had 14 points. Larry Nance only played 8 minutes. He had 2 points. Clint Capella had 15 and 10. Really good game for Clint Capella, 29 minutes. Trae Young played 42 minutes. He had 12 assists and 25 points. Zachary Sachet only had 3 points, played 20 minutes. Garrison Matthews had a crazy game. That was the reason I think it was close at all. Garrison Matthews had 23 points and he played 30 minutes. Keaton Wallace, 29 minutes, 14 points. Onyeka Okongwu had 11 points in 19 minutes. So they got some random contributions last game, which even made it close. Let's take a look at what the Hawks did yesterday against the Blazers. So the Blazers are always beating somebody. It seems like the Blazers, they're 6-8, but I feel like they have some decent W's. Yesterday, the Hawks coming off a back-to-back. Jalen Johnson, 25 points. He played 37 minutes, so keep an eye on that. I know he's a young buck, but he played 37 minutes, had 25 points. Sachet, 11 points in 21 minutes. Clint Capella played 20 minutes. He had 8 points. Trae Young played 38. Trae Young, I believe he was, when the 4 Kings players were in the top 5 for minutes played, I believe Trae Young was the one non-Kings player in that group. So Trae Young is just piling up the minutes here. And it's funny, again, you get rid of DeJounte Murray, and now Trae Young is playing 40 minutes a game. 38 minutes, he scored 29 points, had 8 assists, 5 rebounds. Dyson Daniels, who he's really popped up, and a lot of people are taking note as he's a young player who is really priding himself on the defensive end, but can score the basketball, 12 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. So, Larry Nance Jr. played 11 minutes. So they're not going to be as fresh as they would be. They're on a back-to-back, and they're out on the West Coast. So, and they're not very good. So it's kind of even on both. I wouldn't say even. I would still give the nod to the Kings as far as being in a tougher position. But ultimately, I think the Kings have enough to get it done, and they don't really have a choice. You're getting the Hawks off a back-to-back. You got to take care of business. The spread, a little surprising, though. And look, these things can continue to change. This is 5 hours ago. The spread was -5, and I know who was Dennis on the Sack Chat killed me last time I said stay away from the Kings when they had it was 6.5 against one of the teams last week. I said stay away, and the Kings obliterated that, and they definitely covered. -5 for the Kings. Hawks off a back-to-back. No Sabonis, no DeMar, no Malik. I'm probably staying away. I'm not saying the Kings won't cover. I'm saying I'm staying away. -5 for the Kings. That makes the Hawks a 5-point underdog coming off that back-to-back. And coming off a loss as well. I don't know how hungry the Hawks are at this point, but yeah, something to monitor there. So -5. DeAndre Hunter day to day. Hunter was out for Sunday's game, so I don't know. I don't think he'll be available for tonight's game, but if he is day to day, that's very obvious a situation where he could become available. So a lot to pay attention to there with the Hawks, who are looking to get closer to 500 as they are 6-8. And the Kings, look, if you're going to pick some teams to play while you're missing, that's the tough part about this. If you're going to pick some teams to play while you're missing 3 of your top players, you'd probably pick the Jazz, and you'd probably pick the Hawks coming off a back-to-back on the West Coast. So no excuses. Get it done. On the other side, we take a trip around the NBA. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sactown Sports and the Sactown Sports app.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
DC here for Folsom Lake Kia, where they make car shopping easy with a huge selection of new Kia models, low payments, and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted dealer in Folsom for over 25 years. FolsomLakeKia.com.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
Keep the cargo in your truck's bed dry and protected with a bed cover from TruckSmart. Bed covers that fold up, roll up, and lift up are ready to install on your truck. Turn your vehicle into a hauling machine. TruckSmart truck and SUV accessories in Rockland and Auburn.
What's happening, everybody? It's your boy Kyle Draper for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. It's that time of year. You know what time of year it is. The Mercedes-Benz Vans year-end sales event is underway. Don't think twice, because it's the perfect opportunity to take your drive to the next level. They're perfect for any business needs. Mercedes-Benz Vans, they offer a wide range of commercial vehicles. Trust me on this. They got Sprinter vans. You could turn it into a worker cargo van, a worker passenger van, or how about just a plain old passenger van? I could do that also. They're fully customizable. And one of the things I love about their Sprinter vans, I'm a big guy, I could fit in them comfortably. So now is the time to head down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. They can help you with all your van needs. Ask about customer cash and even special financing options. And business owners, now is the time to take advantage of those year-end tax breaks. So take the short drive down I-5 or go online anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com, and tell them your boy Drape sent you.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Be a bit of an abbreviated around the NBA because we also want to get to around the NFL. And then we still have prop talk and dog segments as we will hand you over to Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper in 30 minutes. So let's not waste any time. Nate, it's time to go around the NBA. Well, this one is hot off the press for everybody that is always talking about the fact that the Kings don't get enough love nationally. Well, De'Aaron Fox was on NBA Today. When you do what he did, that's how you know De'Aaron actually did something. When you see De'Aaron on NBA Today, when they couldn't deny De'Aaron because he scored 109 points, that's when you know that this is the real deal. Here is a clip from De'Aaron being on the show as he is kind of asked about who he is and is he playing the best ball of his career. Here it is.
Do you feel like this year is going to be the best of your season and your career thus far?
I think it's definitely trending that way, but I mean, to be one of the best players in this league, to be one of the best teams in this league, it has to be consistency, and we're not even 20 games in yet. So I'm hoping, but I'm continuing to work towards that for sure.
There it is, De'Aaron, best season of his career, and hey, we always talk about it. There is something in you, or something that happens to humans in general when they know what's at stake. And we all know that in contract years, guys tend to play very well, right? Or players in general. So it's not about caring more or caring less. It's just human nature. So De'Aaron knows $345 million on the line. Yeah, it feels like it's going to be the best season of my career too, if that was on the line. So shout out De'Aaron hopping on ESPN and making us all proud. All right, next on the list, a bit of a random position or a random place is emerging as a spot for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Teams are monitoring the Houston Rockets as a potential destination for Giannis. That is per Mark Stein. Here's the quote. This has been interpreted in some corners of the league, as noted in a recent Sunday notebook, as a strategy designed to give the Rockets more time to see if dream trade target Kevin Durant were to become available down the road. No matter how adamant Phoenix has remained about its desire to keep Durant in the desert, the following expansion of the conversation was inevitable given the various combinations of rising prospects and draft picks that the Rockets can assemble in theoretical trade offers. But similar whispers have begun to percolate among rival teams monitoring a potential down-the-road Houston pursuit of Giannis Antetokounmpo. Is that Is that something I think would work? I mean, okay, so you got I'm assuming they would get the Rockets would get Jalen Green. You want that the young prospects out there. So you get Jalen Green. I don't even know who else off the top of my head. A bunch of picks. The Bucks then destroy everything. Dame goes somewhere. Bobby Portis comes to the Kings. So I guess I could get down with it, but I don't really. It would be bad for the West. You get another star coming to the West, so we'd have to see what that looked like. Maybe the Bucks get Şengün. I think that would be obvious. They would get Şengün in that trade. So yeah, Jalen Green, Şengün, and then it's Giannis, Fred VanVleet, Dylan Brooks. I don't know. I think they would want to keep some of their young talent, but yeah, something to monitor there. All right, last but not least for around the NBA before we get over to around the NFL. De'Aaron Fox had a great weekend, but the Timberwolves also had a very good weekend as they obviously beat the Kings in overtime and then come right back and win a tough game against the Suns, who are missing some guys, but they did it on a game winner from Julius Randle. Here it is.
To inbound. Ingles. Over to Randle. Randle got it off in time. Oh, he's cold-blooded. Timberwolves win.
Great stuff. That was yesterday. So Timberwolves had a great weekend. You know, they've been scuffling a bit as they lost 2 games, again, to those Blazers. They had lost 3 games in a row going into Friday. They beat the Kings in overtime. They get a break on Saturday, and then they beat the Suns 120-117. Of course, the Suns dealing with some injuries themselves. Then after that, they get the Raptors, the Timberwolves do. So they'll get a bit of a break there. So something to keep an eye on. And then, crazy enough, I'm looking here. You know who the Timberwolves are? They are the Warriors of last season. The Kings play the Timberwolves again November 27th. Again. So I'd assume after that you just don't see the Timberwolves again. I don't think I would want to because the Kings have played them tough, but 2 L's. But yeah, the Timberwolves not going away anytime soon. Thank you, Nate. Let's make the transition over to around the NFL. Great stuff there. Nicely done. Daniel Jones has been benched. Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets will be starting. Hey, we love his agent. He was very nice to us in Vegas. I've never met the guy before, but he seemed to know me. But Tommy DeVito has been benched. Terrible look for Daniel Jones, but he's not a good quarterback. And, you know, some guys take chances and some guys, you know, you decide to go into the experiment even more or to invest even more. That's what the Giants did. They're having a bit of buyer's remorse. I'm just not really sure what Daniel Jones is supposed to do well, and there's just not much. So Daniel Jones will be riding pine for the Giants for whatever the future is. Could be a game. That's how things have kind of gone this season with these guys, with these young quarterbacks that have been benched. Josh Allen, clutch touchdown run on 4th and 2 to beat the Chiefs. I think we all had the Bills winning that one. I think even the Chiefs don't mind it. And now the Chiefs will say, yep, now we can just restart, refresh. I do not think this will be a similar situation to the Eagles, where the Eagles were playing with fire. I guess it could be, but we're playing with fire all season long last season, finally lost the game, and then the wheels fell off. I just don't see that happening with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs just got rid of this weight. They are in a great position in the AFC, and they're going to move forward. But here is that run from Josh Allen.
Fakes left, now taken off. Going to run for it. He got it. And there he goes. Inside the 10, the 5. Oh, the play of the year in the NFL.
Play of the year? I don't know about, I guess it's to take down the Chiefs, who were undefeated. So that is, I guess you could put it's definitely one of the plays of the year. I think I still got Garrett Wilson up there with that crazy catch. That was the last time anybody cared about the Jets. And Garrett Wilson, I think 20 yards yesterday. So the Jets are a mess. But yeah, play of the year, I don't know, but it was very, very impressive. And Josh Allen goes through these spurts where he doesn't run a lot and then he does. So that was a decision he made to get it done, and the Bills get it done against the Chiefs. Cairo Santos does not get it done against the Packers, and this is why the Packers move to 7-3 as they get ready to host the Niners. Here's how it sounded.
And it's blocked! Oh my goodness, the Packers block it, and they're going to win! Green Bay survives!
There you go. Green Bay survives. I mean, the Bears, I had a feeling the Bears would come out squirrely whenever nobody had the Bears doing anything against the Packers. So I thought this was a pride game for the Bears. Ultimately, they don't get the win. I mean, kickers are just having a rough go this season in general. And I would not be surprised in 10 – 15 years, maybe less than that, if we know NFL cares about how the product looks. And if enough people are sick and tired of these kickers, let me just say I think anything is possible. I think anything is possible if they think it will help the product, because it has not been a good season for kickers in general. You have Jared Goff, who just balled out, and I mean balled out. Lions Jared Goff, 24 of 29, 412 yards, 4 touchdowns for a perfect 158.3 rating. And the Lions, at that time, were up 49-6. I mean, the Jags are terrible. I think Doug Peterson still has a job, right? Did I miss something? He still has a job. That's insane. Jared Goff right now is third in MVP odds, whether or not he should be higher. The guys in front of him, Josh Allen at plus 150, Lamar Jackson at plus 200, Jared Goff at plus 600. The reason Jared Goff might not win is because he'll just have games where he only throws 15 times. That run game is ridiculous. But Lamar Jackson, let's see if things change there. Lamar, not a great game. They lose to the Steelers. I think I was reading something that Lamar just against the Steelers just never plays well. So there you have it there. But Jared Goff, when I think about Jared Goff, he's kind of a guy that doesn't fit into either because of when he got traded. Jared Goff is a very, very unique situation. The only thing that is somewhat similar is maybe Alex Smith, but it feels like Alex Smith was moved to the Chiefs later in his career, because Jared Goff, normally you have two options. You have the quarterback that gets drafted and it works out, or you have the quarterback that gets drafted, it doesn't work out, he messes around, and maybe 2 or 3 teams later, he figures it out. You have Jared Goff, who straight up trade and is still cooking. The only thing that's similar in a way is Baker Mayfield, but Baker even bounced around a couple teams before finding his footing. So very unique situation for Jared Goff. Happy for him. Seems like a great guy. Shout out Cal, of course. So yeah, Jared Goff rocking and rolling, and those Lions, they did what they're supposed to do. The Jaguars aren't very good, but there is something to be said about doing what you're supposed to do in this NFL. There's a reason that, the favorites do not win every single game. So shout out to them. And last but not least, couldn't get out without saying Shedeur Sanders, thanks God yet again, immediately after Raiders lost. If you hadn't checked in on that or hadn't heard about what that situation was there, basically Shedeur Sanders, every time the Raiders has lost, he has said, thank God. He has posted, thank God, on his Twitter. A lot of people are saying, okay, between the Tom Brady connection and just he was there with Mark Davis talking, and maybe this will be your home. Seems like Shedeur Sanders wants to go to the Raiders, and once again, he is feeding into this. And people, Raiders Twitter retweeted it, so people are definitely believing this hype about it. Just Shedeur we'll have to talk about Shedeur as an actual prospect. A lot of people saying he shouldn't be as high as what everyone is saying he is going to be. So we'll have that conversation as well. But yes, Shedeur, thanks God yet again. I mean, right after the Raiders loss. Prop Talk and Dog segment to close out the show. Get in your Prop Talk Dog segment. Let's also get in your predictions for tonight's game. The line is -5, 916-339-1140. Who balls out? How do the Kings win? Do the Kings win? Do they cover? 916-339-1140. Call line, text line, and of course, the YouTube Sacktown Sports 1140. Let's get to it. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another 3-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now, during our Black Friday sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. And Cyber Monday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost, or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million+ products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
DC here, and if you've been thinking about a new car, you gotta see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia. You can always count on low payments and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
A double prop today with the Kings playing and Monday Night Football. Very interesting what will be available. Trey Lyles now available on the prop apps with Domantas Sabonis. Doubtful. Somebody said on the Sack Chat, I guess ESPN, and I don't know what they're looking at, ESPN saying Domantas Sabonis game time decision. I'm looking at ESPN injuries, and it says day-to-day Sabonis back is doubtful for Monday's game. And Sean Cunningham reported yesterday that Sabonis is doubtful. I'll put it to you like this. There's really no reason to play any of these guys because if you get through today, they don't have another game until Friday against the Clippers. So you get through today, they do not have another game, and then you get a ton of rest. So it doesn't really, I guess you could look at that and say, well, why not play them? But you might as well give them the consistent rest. Get through today. The Hawks aren't very good. If you can get a good game from Keegan Murray, you could get a good game from Kevin Huerter and De'Aaron. All right, De'Aaron, just give us one more, and some of the cavalry should be back on Friday as we get to Prop Talk Dog segment. And let's get some of your predictions in. The line is at 5 for the Kings. Nate, it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one today. Look, I'm going to do this because I've been really hard on him, and I'm just really trying to just will it. I will stay away.
I'm in the same
Okay,
boat.
are you going Keegan? Because I'll
I'm
go
going
somewhere
Keegan,
else.
but something else. I mean, probably not what you're doing.
I wasn't going to mess around. I mean, he hasn't, is that 17 and a half? He hasn't hit it.
17 points.
Points alone. I've been doing points and rebounds. I'm a little worried now about, I know with no Sabonis, you actually should feel better about it, but he had 6 rebounds the last game. I think things are just weird right now. I'm going to take, I probably should take Huerter, but I know I'm not allowed. I'm going to take.
You are now. This is a different show, different everything. So,
what are you taking for Keegan?
Keegan Murray. I'm basing it off of the Keegan Murray. I mean, I guess you didn't slander him earlier, but you definitely went in on him. I'm going in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm jumping on that train a little bit just when it comes to prop talk. 14 field goals attempted. I'm taking the under.
Yeah,
that's a lot of field goals to take. And if he's scared to shoot.
Well, put it to you like this.
It is at home, and you say he's at home.
He took
body.
Yeah, he took 15 against the Timberwolves, which went to that point, went to overtime.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean, 14 is too high, especially with everyone healthy. If Domas is back tonight, which it doesn't really look like it, in my opinion. No pun intended on Domas and back. But Keegan, yeah, I mean, I hope I'm wrong. I hope he attempts 20 shots and he makes 15 of them. But I just, if he's in a slump and he's scared to shoot, like Kevin Huerter will still shoot if he's in a slump.
Yeah.
Keegan, it's something different. So 14 field goal attempts. I'm taking the under on that.
All right. Well, if I say Keegan, doing the math here, he can go under. I mean, I guess he could get fouled because I was going to do 17. I was trying to flip it and will it to happen. I was going to take Keegan over 17 and a half points. So that's what I'm going to take. I just think that this is exactly the time where the talk starts to get a little bit loud about Keegan Murray. And this is not just a Keegan Murray thing. Same thing happens with all of these guys. You start to, hey, question this, question that with Keegan or Kevin, and then they have a really good game. And then tomorrow I got to come on these airwaves and everybody says, remember when you said Keegan stunk, even though I did not say that. So I think Keegan is going to ball out. I'll put it to you like this. 17 and a half does feel high. It feels high.
Yeah, but I mean, okay, if this was a week ago and you go, okay, Sabonis, DeRozan, and Monk are out.
Yeah.
Oh, Keegan will make up for
You
it,
would
right?
think.
You think Keegan's got an easy 20. I'd say easy 18.
Yeah, I would
But
say
no.
I would say you take a choice on Keegan or Kevin Huerter. One of them is going to hit.
Yeah.
Won't be
People-
both of them, but one of them will hit.
In regards to all the Keegan stuff today, too, I get the sensitivity. He's like your baby. As a Kings fan, you don't want to criticize him.
Yeah.
But even take away the 4th overall pick, which I think was a big part of your argument. He's an established starter on a playoff team. I wouldn't even say playoff hopeful team. I think this is a playoff team. You have to be better, and you can't be so soft on your guys. And it's okay to criticize your team as a Niners fan. I know it's you just gotta let it happen. There's truths behind what's going on with Keegan, and things aren't great right now in regards to him.
No, and I do think it will turn around tonight. I really do. I'm trying to will that, but I actually do think it will because it was so egregious. I just think that Mike Brown, who is one thing Mike Brown always gets on these guys about is shooting the basketball and taking open shots. He probably already sat down with Keegan and said, you can't only take 6 shots.
Yeah.
It can't happen.
So let's look at both of our props real quick for the Kings game.
Yeah, obviously some math.
Yeah, I'm taking 14 attempts under. Obviously, that doesn't include free throws.
Yes.
Threes, that's likely on the table. I mean, if he goes 3 for 7 from 3, do you think both of ours hit, or do you think only one of us can?
It's got to be efficient.
Your points are 17.5. 17.5 on under 14.
He goes
attempted.
Yes, I think he goes 4 for 6 from 3-point land, right? So now he's already at 12, and then he can make that's only 6 shots, and then he can make. You still got 8.
He can get to the line. That doesn't count.
Doesn't happen a lot.
No, but if he gets to the line twice, maybe
gets to the line twice. I don't even think you need the line. You need 4 threes, or we need 4 threes,
Yeah.
And then I think he will be able. That's not to say he won't only take 14 shots, but 4 threes, and you can get to 17. You can get to 18 points without going over 14.
Yeah, I personally don't see them both hitting at the same time, both working.
No.
I think it'll be one or the other. And obviously, since I have a horse in the race, I'm going to go with mine.
Yes.
Something's off. Something's off. It's
the
wrong mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. He had those comments to Fox too. I mean, it's all fun and games, but in the post game, did you hear about that?
When he said, "But we lost."
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something's weird. I don't know. That might.
But that's
be
who he is.
segment.
It's like deadpan.
But I think
comedy.
Fox is a part of that too.
Yeah, they all are. I didn't talk about it because I didn't have a problem with it. They got inside jokes. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm glad I'll stay on the outside on this one, but it is weird, just to say the least.
I mean, I think he'll be good. I think he'll play well tonight.
Well, do we want to do football now? We got a couple minutes.
Yeah,
here.
we'll do football. I think
horrible game.
Yeah,
and these are teams that usually only meet once every 4 years or so, and the Texans and the Cowboys, obviously AFC, NFC.
If you're looking for some value, you could get CeeDee Lamb at 58.5, but that takes you trusting Cooper Rush, who I'm tempted to take CeeDee. A lot of times when something is so obvious, right, that good Texans defense, obviously they're going to take care of business. And there's basically 2 plays here, Nate. There's the obvious play, and there's the let's go against the grain play. I think the go against the grain play is you get great value of CeeDee Lamb at 58.5 yards, which probably won't be there by the time the game kicks off. I think that'll continue to move up. That's the dark horse play. But I think honestly, if you want to play the smart money, I would just do Joe Mixon and not overthink it and do rushing. Either rushing yards or it's at 89.5.
Pretty high.
It is high.
That's pretty high, even against Dallas.
You know what? A lot of people have been on lately, which scares me, but it makes sense. With these guys and how there's been so many dump offs, would you rather let me ask you this question. And he's not necessarily known as a pass catching back, but I don't even know who the Texans backup back is. He doesn't even get offered.
Last one I remember is Alfred Blue. Spelled like blue cheese.
Spelled like blue cheese. Yeah. Would you rather take 89 rushing yards for Joe Mixon or 109.5 rushing and receiving? Because nothing will kill you more than a little dump off where he goes for 20 and that doesn't count for your receiving yards.
Yeah, I'd go for the mix because that plays into my prop. My prop being CJ Stroud, 240.5 passing yards, taking the over on that. I'm smashing the over on that. I think he probably gets most of that in the first half.
Nico Collins is back.
Sure. Yeah, I know no Stephon, but this dude can throw it. I know he's in a slump too, but this is a get-right game. This is a perfect setup get-right game for a guy like C.J. Stroud and a coach like DeMeco Ryans. Their defense is elite. Their defense is very good. So they could get up early, and I think it's done mostly with passing, and that I think those can go to dump-offs to Mixon.
But it sounds like you do not like Joe Mixon at 89.5.
I think it's this one for me compared to our other props. Both of these are more likely to happen than our other two because, if they get up 21 to 3 at halftime,
right?
And CJ Stroud threw for 180 yards. It's the Joe Mixon show in the second half.
Yeah, I can't imagine the Cowboys playing any worse. And Cooper Rush isn't a bad quarterback, but he did not play well, and we even saw Trey Lance. So
you're taking rushing or the mix?
I'll take the mix.
109.
Yeah, I'll take 109.5. And I think that this is, and the Cowboys have played terrible at home. One thing we've kind of learned from this season is when I would honestly, if I were out there today on Prop Talk, I would put in 2 slips. I would put in a standard slip of what you think will happen, and I would put in another slip of what if the Cowboys just happen to figure it out. And the Texans have been kind of playing with fire, and that's about it. All right. Final prediction for the game tonight. Like I said, Kings favored by 5. I'm going to go 1. I think the Kings cover barely by 7 points. 107 to 100. Kings get it done. Thank you for listening to Allen Stiles here at Sacktown Sports. Thank you to Nate, callers, texters, Sack Chatters. We will talk to you tomorrow. Drive Guys up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Until tomorrow, secure the bag like the beam.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey.